Okay, we're going to call to order the meeting of November 21st, City Council meeting. Madam Clerk, pledge, please.
Councilman Asbill. Present. Councilman Buddy.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Wheeler. Present. Mayor Bodier.
Present.
Police Chief Walker. Fire Chief St. Cyr is absent. Finance Director Todd Tunion.
Present.
City Attorney Scott Stansberry.
Present.
And Municipal Clerk Nicole Lee, present.
Okay, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Tonight we got to go to the first meeting for the Blake. It was impressive. From what I understand, the entire first floor of the community has been sold. So it's moving along. The people that are running it are amazing. The little girl, the Lauren, that's actually helped facilitate the residents, grew up in Harahan, played at Colonial. She let me know that a lot of people are coming home to Colonial from River Ridge, Harahan, Metairie, that they've all been a part of the course or that club at one point. And it was really great to see another part of Harahan getting on track to provide something for our seniors who we respect and love in this community. So it was wonderful to see. It was a great event, and we thank them very, very much. All right, before we move to special presentations, I would like to ask for a motion to amend agenda to add new business number 4, call for a special meeting on Tuesday, December 10th, at 6 p.m. for a 2020 budget hearing and waive notice of that meeting.
Motion.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Johnston. Second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Wait, can I check my
I'm sorry?
calendar? Just one.
Oh, we got to do public comment. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Can I have a motion to open for public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by?
Second.
By Councilman Johnson. Public hearing is now open.
What was the time again?
It is for 6 p.m. No one coming to speak forth on, you want to come speak? For what? No, this is about the budget. Stop, Ann. All right, no one coming to speak forth. We'd like to close public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler. Public hearing is now closed.
A comment, I am available, I just wanted to double check.
Okay.
Okay, so do I have a motion to vote to have?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by?
Second.
Second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. So what we just voted on is the budget hearings, and if you guys would like to come out, it will be on December the 10th, starting at 6 p.m. It is boring, but if you will you can get a good perception of the numbers and what departments look like and what, what we're up against and where we've benefited in the past year of being real conservative with your tax dollars. So thank you.
Are you ready? Special presentations. Chief Walker, current state of the Harahan Police Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, viewing public. First, I want to talk about, recently I brought the local VFW hall over and also the Civil Air Patrol. We have quite a few service organizations in Harahan that promote the city and do a lot for our community. Unfortunately, a lot of these organizations, their membership is dying off, getting older, and it's hard to attract new young people. So tonight, I invited Alan Bricata with the Harahan Lions Club to make a little presentation about our Harahan Lions, how much they do for our community and what they're looking for. Alan?
Yes, I'm Alan Bricata, and I'm with the Harahan Lions Club, here to represent them, and I thank y'all for the opportunity to speak here tonight. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we do and the services that we provide for the community. And what we stand for as far as locally and nationally. Internationally, the Lions Club has clubs all over the world, okay, and they help people that are less fortunate in all areas of the world, in other countries. Here locally, we do have some services and things that we do that I'm sure the public's not really aware of in a lot of cases, because a lot of people ask me, what do y'all do? What kind of organization is it? What we are is a service organization. Locally, we take care of, we have the availability of people that can't afford eye care to go to our LSU Eye Center and be able to get checked. They just have to, their eyes checked and maybe glasses, whatever they need, and it's no charge to the people, but they have to go through, of course, a process that they qualify. And that's one service that we provide. Also, we have what they call the Cub Site program. Some of y'all may know what that is. What it is we have one of our people, and they do that nationwide, and also that's also tied in together with us. But we have one of our members that goes to the preschool, nurseries and preschools and checks the children's eyes before they go into regular school, from kindergarten up, so that way they can catch the children before they go into the regular classes so that they don't fall behind if they need glasses or they need some kind of eye care. He has a special apparatus that the children, even though they don't know numbers or ABCs, this machine just takes a picture of their eyes and they can tell if they actually have a problem, and they recommend them to an eye doctor, or if they can't afford it, then they send them to the Eye Foundation. So in fact, I know he goes to St. Rita's right over here and some of the other schools in the areas and checks the children's eyes periodically. Also, we're the center for the eyeglass recycling right here in Harahan. We take all old eyeglasses. If anybody has old eyeglasses that they don't need anymore, we take those and we clean them, and then what we do is send them to be, they check the strength of the glasses, and then once they do that, they label them, and then they send them. We can't send them here in the United States, but they send them to other countries, because we're not allowed to use older glasses back here. The United States doesn't let us do that. But they send them to third world countries like that, the people, a lot of them don't even know what eyeglasses are. You know, they can't see very well, but they don't know, so it's like a miracle if you give them glasses. So we send those, we'll send thousands and upon thousands of eyeglasses abroad to help those people. So, and like I say, if you have any, we have a drop box in the front of the Lions Club. If you have any old glasses that you don't need, just drop them off there and we'll take care of them from there, and they get to somebody that really needs them, they can provide for them. Also, we have a leader dog program, which we provide leader dogs for people that qualify for that opportunity there. And that's no charge for that either. If the person can't afford it, we see about getting them a leader dog. Also, we have the Lions Camp, which is designed for mentally and physically challenged children that can go there during the summertime, and we have counselors that are one-on-one for that, and they take care of the people that come, you know, no matter what handicap they have, and they have different sessions all through the summer. We also have the mentally and the pulmonary and diabetic camp too, where children with breathing problems, you know, pulmonary problems can go to this camp, and they'll take them and they'll let them swim, ride horses, you know, do a lot of things. Camping at nighttime or whatever, and they have a great time, and they really enjoy that during the summertime. So we have that program. That's right here. It's in Leesville. They bus them up there, and then they pay for everything. We take care of all of that if anybody, you know, qualifies to go there. So, and then another thing that we have that we do is a gold ball tournament, and what that is actually blind children who play like it's similar to soccer, but instead of, you know, they have a ball that has bells inside of it, and as they kick it, it rolls, and they play soccer by the hearing of the ball rolling. We have that tournament here, which we have that every year. We have a big tournament for them. Also, some of y'all may know our Halloween party. We have a Halloween costume party. And I know the mayor and Tim knows about it for sure, that we have that every year. They always support us with that. But at that, we have anywhere from 300 to 350 people that have mental and physical challenges. They come to the party there, and we have music for them. We give them prizes. We have dance contests, all kind of things. And it's really a great thing that we have, and we really enjoy putting that on for them. We put that on every year. We just put that on last month, right before Halloween. So we do that, and then we invite special classes from all the schools around in the area, and also Magnolia School comes. They have about 150 people that they send over, but we have that every year. So that's some of the things that we do, and if anybody knows anyone that's interested, knows someone that has a need or would like to go to any of those programs, you need to let us know, so we can, hook them up with the proper people with that will take care of it for them. So and again, the reason why I'm here too, just like the VFW, they had some trouble with they wasn't doing too well with their income as far as their rentals and things, and they started doing some things to try to help pick up so they could stay, because we're a nonprofit charitable organization, same way as the VFW is nonprofit also. So we had a rough year last year also. We've done a few things that we're picking up a little bit, but we need some support from the community when we have our projects, and also keep us in mind if you're going to rent a hall or you need for a party or wedding or something like that, please keep us in mind. We do have some good, hard-working new members. We went from 19 to 32 members in the last month, so we got some good members, very enthusiastic, very work. In fact, they had a can shake just last weekend out there at Winn-Dixie, and we also had a lot of support we've been having some support from the businesses around the city. We got the Harahan Athletic Club's been supporting us, and of course, the consul, Chief Walker, Mayor Baudier, consul, we've had some support from them, and they've always helped us. Tim's been helping us for years, working with us with the Halloween party and supporting us, and also Mayor Baudier too. So we appreciate that, and we need your continued support. We need continued support from the citizens also, so that we can continue to work with all these projects. I got to mention Tab and Julie Henderson from the VFW came over, and they've been helping us. They had some things that they did, which they kind of opened up their Facebook. Social media is a big thing now, so we do have a Facebook page. You can check us out on Harahan Lodge Club Facebook page, and it gives everything that's going on with us. And they also, we have a craft show coming up, / Christmas market. They like to call them Christmas markets now rather than craft shows, but anyway, we have that coming up December the 7th. So hopefully all of y'all will be able to come and maybe tell your friends. But anyway, we'll have that, and we also, all I can say is that we want to continue to serve the city of Harahan, but we need your help in order to continue doing that. Our motto as long as we serve, and we want to continue to do that. So thank you very much, and God bless. Thank you.
Alan,
Thank you.
the address of the Harahan Lions Club. The address.
The address, I'm sorry, it's 1001 Hickory. It's right across from the playground, okay, just across from the playground. And like I say, we're trying to do a little more to try to spruce the place up a little bit. We just painted it just recently. We painted the club, and we need a little work on it. So that's another thing that we're try to get some things going where we can do that also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanksgiving's coming up, and next week, we're going to do the annual blue light where we have extra units working the streets of the city of Harahan to travel through to keep out, I guess you'd say, the people taking the packages off the front porch. Also, if you come home from shopping at night and you feel uncomfortable, call the station, 737-9763. We'll send a unit out to escort you to your house. Also coming up, December 14th is our annual Christmas parade. It starts 12 noon Saturday, December 14th, normal place, Ford Street, right by the truck stop, and goes down Jefferson Highway West and ends at Foltz by Winn-Dixie. This year, our parish president-elect, Cynthia Lee Shang, will be our grand marshal. Also, forget the drug take-back box we have in the front lobby at police headquarters, 6441 Jefferson Highway, right next door. It's open, the lobby is open 24/7, 7 days a week. If you got any unwanted drugs, just go in there and drop them in the box. Again, see something suspicious? Dial 911. You're our eyes and ears. You call us 10 times a day, we're coming 10 times a day. We need your help as much as you need help. We got to work in this together. Okay. So have a happy and safe Thanksgiving from the Harahan Police Department.
Can I make a motion?
Yeah, Madam Clerk, Councilman Chatterley would like to make a motion,
I'd like to make a motion to add State Rep Kurt Talbot, special presentation.
and
Second.
also Clay Angelosi for his special presentation. And
Second.
we would like to open for public hearing. No one coming to speak forth.
Motion to open the
All
public
right, motion to
hearing.
open for public hearing by Councilman
Second.
Chatterley, second by Councilman Johnston. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. No one coming to speak forth. Like to close public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Chatterley, second by Councilman Johnston. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. All right. I'm sorry, we got to go through these formalities, but
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kirk Talbot, State Representative for this district. Nothing really to report that interesting. Session starts March 9th. Swearing in is January 13th. I know you and I have had several conversations on capital outlay projects, and we'll certainly be watching those and making sure that those get funded and get, pushed to the right levels. I would encourage y'all to come up. I think it's every Tuesday. We have Jefferson Parish Day, the Jefferson delegation luncheon at the Capitol, and I know y'all have expressed interest in coming up like y'all did last year. But I would encourage y'all to do that as much as you can. And if there's any,
when you swearing in again?
January 13th. And I guess I want to take this opportunity to thank, the city of Harahan for trusting me to serve another 4 years, this time in the Senate. So very honored and very humbled, and I'll make you proud. I'll do my best to get as much help in capital outlay to Harahan like we've done in the past, and hopefully we got a little better budget situation now, so there's actually money out there. So we'll work with the other delegation members, our new state rep John Ilg, and to make that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
But-
Come on.
Just want to come out and remind everybody, I was supposed to come last month, and I had some health issues and couldn't make it that day. We are doing our 13th annual We Care banquet for the senior citizens. This year, we're going to do it over at the Harahan VFW Hall, and it's going to be on December 20th. Now, needless to say, the last I checked, we have 350 or so seats. We're right at 250, so we only have 100 seats left. We urge everyone, if you do want to get on a list, to call me ASAP, because once we're full, we're full. We won't be taking any more. I'll leave some of these flyers out. Right now, we've gotten such a great response on the attendance with people, and every year I've been doing this. We have Vince Vance, and this year we brought in Lisa Lane to come in with him. She's doing a show the night before the event over at Andreas, so we will have Vince Vance and Lisa Lane performing that night. So it's going to be it will be pretty much a sellout completely. It's completely free for our seniors. If you're 60 or over, it's free. Now, last year we started doing this. We opened up a handful of seats just to help us pay for the cost. I'm not a multi-millionaire, and it always seems like for some reason I got to take money out of my pocket that I don't have to pay for something that we fell short on. And so we're gonna do this again this year, where if you're under 60 you can come. It's $25, but we only have a handful of seats for that available. And so we need sponsorships, guys. You know, where it's $25 to help. We broke it down. We figure by the time we pay for the entertainment, pay for the gifts, because each senior gets a Christmas gift. So we pay for the gifts, we pay for the food. It averages about $25. I don't want to do like I did last year and have to give Dollar Tree gifts. We ran short. I literally went out and took it out of my pocket and went to Dollar Tree and bought a bunch of gifts and spent like $5 on each person. We would like to give each senior a nice gift. I started doing this over at Wanhoven Apartments. It grew. We moved from Wanhoven Apartments to the 4 Columns, and then VFW was kind enough to donate the hall this year, so it wouldn't cost me anything. That's $1,000 that I don't have to pay out of my pocket to put this or look for sponsorships for. So we need this. We need sponsorships. If anybody can help, we're open to this to help pay for this. I mean, we got to pay. Vince, again, as usual, does this for me at cost. I mean, you know, he has to pay his band members. Lisa is here. She's doing it basically at her cost to come in. We're paying for her hotel room, I think, for that night to be here to stay an extra night. So it's not like they're charging us tens of thousands of dollars, but their band members have to get paid at the end of the day. I have a list. I'll leave this too with the flyers of things we need. Turkeys. We need food. We need. I literally, for 15 years, and until my mother passed away, we cooked this food ourselves for 400 people. I would stay up all night the night before. We need help cooking the food the day before. The morning of, if we can. It's that Friday. If we can get people to come out, I have roasting pans. We're going to go to the VFW hall, pull the turkeys out, cook them that day. Need some help. We need volunteers to serve the seniors. So if anybody wants to come help serve, because we don't want seniors having a lot of them come with walkers, a lot of them come in wheelchairs, so they can't go fix their plates. So we serve the seniors. We sit them down. They stay seated unless they want to get up and dance. We try to keep them seated as much as possible so we don't have any issues with someone falling or hurting themselves. So then, last but not least, tomorrow night, this is kind of a last-minute thing we've decided to do. Over at the VFW hall at 7 o'clock, we're going to have a fundraiser. Vince is going to come down. It's going to be kind of a casual, just Vince himself, and it's going to be like an intimate night where he's going to come out and mingle with people. We're going to have a lady by the name of Suzanne and Jim Whirlpool. He plays the piano. She puts on an awesome show. She did it for us last year. We decided about a week ago. She contacted me and said she would love to do it. And so that's tomorrow night. We were going to charge $25 for the tickets. It's going to be $10. If you want to make a donation, we're going to do 50-50s and things like that just to help raise the money. So $10 a person, $15 for a couple. We're going to have dinner, hors d'oeuvres tomorrow night, and come out. And then we're going to have a little DJ after and just have a good time. So that's tomorrow night. So if you want to come out, starts at 7 to 11. At the VFW hall, and that's tomorrow night. So anything else, any questions from anybody? We want the community to support this. We're bringing this to Harahan. This is for the Harahan seniors. We've gotten a lot from the senior center here, a big response from them. And in Bridge City, the Jefferson Parish Senior Center in Bridge City, we've gotten a big response from them. So, come support this. This is for the residents here just as much as it's for all of Jefferson Parish. And it's an awesome event, just like we do for the first responder event. It's growing every year. We have our growing pains, but we're learning from our mistakes, and nobody's perfect, but we'll go from there. But if you have any questions, I have to run back out and get back to the VFW hall, but my number's on here. Please give me a call. I'm available 24/7. Any other questions?
Would you mind sharing your number in case
Yeah.
somebody wants to volunteer, donate some
Yes.
money or something to you before
Yes.
the 20th?
All right, my personal cell is 504-201-5407. Let me make sure I just got this number. I'm giving you the right number. Sorry about that. Let me make sure that's correct. Yeah, 201-5407. Or you can call me on the office line of 358-0266. And you can't reach me if I get hopefoundationofla.com. My number's always on there.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, motion to amend the agenda to take up executive session at this time.
Okay. We have to open up a public hearing. All right, motion to open executive session at this time.
To consider case Woods Material
All
LLC
right, so I'd like to open for public
versus City of
hearing.
Harahan.
I'll have a motion open for public hearing.
Motion.
All right, motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Wheeler, to open for public hearing. No one coming to speak forth on the public hearing. Motion to close public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Wheeler. Public hearing is now closed. We will now retire into executive, you want to vote on that? All right.
Yeah, we'll take a vote
Motion
on it.
to move to executive session.
Move.
All right. Second by, motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson. We will now retire to executive session. We won't be very long. If you'd like to call the meeting back to order, Madam Clerk?
Approval of minutes. Reading of the minutes of the special meeting on October 8th.
Okay, so we have a reading of the minutes on a special meeting of October 8th. I'd like to make a motion to open for public hearing. If anyone would like to come speak on the reading of the minutes for a special meeting on October the 8th, 2019. No one coming forth to speak. I'm sorry. Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Wheeler. Public is now open. This is silly that we're gonna do this, y'all,
Yeah.
but it's, all right, no one coming to speak on it. The public hearing is now closed. Okay, do I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes from,
Motion.
on October the 8th?
Seconded.
All right, motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
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 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And approval of the minutes of the special meeting on October 8th.
Okay, we have a
Motion.
motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Wheeler to open for public hearing for the approval of the minutes of the special meeting on October 8th, 2019. Do I have a motion to open for public hearing?
Moved.
A motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain. Public hearing is now open. No one coming to speak forth on the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
5
Yay.
yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the special
Motion.
meeting on October 8th, 2019?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Alrighty. Reading of the minutes of the council meeting on October 17th.
Okay, reading of the minutes of the council meeting on October 17th,
Move to open the public hearing.
2019. Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Wheeler to open for public hearing. All right, no one coming to speak forth on that. Motion to close public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Buddy, to close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed.
Move to dispense with the reading.
Councilman Asbill moves to dispense with the reading of the
Second.
minutes from October 17th, 2019 from the council meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on October 17th.
Okay, do I have a motion to open for public hearing for the approval of the minutes of the
Motion.
council meeting on October 17th, 2019? Motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
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 5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open. All right, do I have a motion to close public hearing? Motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Wheeler to close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the council meeting on October 17th,
Motion.
2019? Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. How y'all like that?
Okay, communications, reading of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Board on November 6th.
Okay, do I have a motion to open for public hearing on the reading of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Board meeting on November 6, 2019?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Chatelain. Public hearing is now open. And no one coming to speak forth. Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Chatelain. Public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes on the Planning and Zoning meeting on November 6, 2019?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Minutes are dispensed. Madam Clerk.
Approval of the Planning and Zoning minutes on November 6th.
Okay, do I have a motion to open for public hearing and approval of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Board meeting on November 6, 2019?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Johnston. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open. No one coming to speak forth. Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas,
Yay.
0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion to approve of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Board meeting on November 6, 2019?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Minutes are approved. Madam Clerk.
Excellent.
All right, there are no resolutions tonight and ordinances for approval. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman Johnson. Proposed ordinance number 2019-27. An ordinance approving the rezoning of lots 1 through 8, Colonial Place, Phase 1, and portion of A2B1, Soniat or Chabatulas Plantation, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, as per plan made by Ronald Clement, PLS, dated July 24, 2019, and further approving the rezoning of a portion of Lot 6A, Colonial Center, Soniat or Chabatulas Plantation, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, as per plan made by Ronald Clement, PLS, dated July 24, 2019.
Okay, do I have a motion to open for public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open. Anyone coming to speak forth on this ordinance?
Good evening. Danny McCarron here, JW Colonial, representing JW Colonial. So we're here again, asking for the re-subdivision of these 8 lots, originally, I think requested in May. It's the same tract, as I understand it, that the previous council administration had requested go from commercial to residential, and we see this as complying with that request. All the lots are bigger than the required zoning in this area. These are the same ones Planning and Zoning had initially tabled. I think they had some additional questions, wanted clarification on things. We came back. I believe we gave clarification, answered those questions. We were able to get a unanimous yes at that Planning and Zoning meeting. And, yeah, and that's it. Thanks for consideration. And we're here to answer any additional questions you may have that could, stop you from being a yes on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Edward Suffren with the Dwyer Cambry Law Firm in Metairie, also representing the owner-developer JW Colonial. On the matter of the subdivision, I did submit to council this week a proposed floor amendment, and I think you may have addressed one of the issues. I know there was a concern about not having a lot that you could then rezone. So were we going to rezone first or re-subdivide first? In the event we re-subdivided first, I provided for an amendment which would make the subdivision conditioned upon adoption of the zoning. And I heard that from the council, so I wanted to address that. Also on the subdivision, I had proposed a couple of changes to convert what the ordinance provides right now for a preliminary plat approval to a final plat approval. And when we started this process in May, we envisioned creating a boulevard. We had pushback on the boulevard, which would be a public street. So we changed that, and at this point, we're creating no public utilities. The drainage and sewer, they're in at the rear of the 8 lots, and water is available from the parish in the front. So really, there's nothing more to achieve by not going immediately to final plat approval. And as I've attended some of your meetings, that is the ordinary course of things, to go right to final plat. So I would just request that a council member make those proposed amendments to the ordinance too.
Mr. Suffren, I didn't get a chance to study your email that came a couple of days ago. I apologize. But as I look at these 2 ordinances, 26 and 27, we're on 26 now, I guess, but
We're on
they're all-
27.
We're on 27. If 27 goes first, it's re-subdividing.
It's rezoning,
I'm
I
sorry,
think.
27 is,
We twisted.
yeah. But it's making reference to A2B1, which doesn't exist yet.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's just got to be, it's clarified. The ordinance isn't in a position to pass.
Because, I mean, these ordinances are companion ordinances. You really need both to happen at the same time.
Right, but if 27 goes first, we're affecting a lot that doesn't exist yet. A2B1. Doesn't exist yet because that's done in 26, right?
Let me ask, council, can we do this contingent on this happening?
Do you happen to have a copy of those amendments for all of us? 'Cause
sir.
I know we got them in our email, but it's kind of late. Yeah, you should have.
That's, yes, which originally that was the first ordinance to be taken up. You could still do it that way if you adopted all the floor amendments, re-subdivided first, then you have the lot, and the re-subdivision is clearly contingent then on the adoption of rezoning. It's our intention to proceed with both. It was never our intention not to do it any other way.
And if you re-subdivide first, you're re-subdividing a substandard lot.
No, sir, it's being incorporated into the
No.
larger lot.
Well,
You're subdividing a commercial piece of property.
I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I have an issue with the amendments for two reasons. First, we're adding a whole new section that the Planning and Zoning Commission did not consider at all. That's my first issue. The second issue is, last month we got up here and we positioned and flexed that the council cannot change my ordinance. This is my submission, we can't change it, but now you're asking us to sit up here and change it for you. And so I'm a little uncomfortable in changing it for you now because we all but said, look, if there's an issue with the ordinance and you change it and there's a problem, you all but said there's going to be litigation to follow. And so that's my issue with changing it. And
well, and I haven't had an opportunity to have Mr. Jackson representing us tell us if he thinks
nobody
this
offered it.
sequence makes sense or anything else, so I mean, we can do that tonight. I don't know if you've had an opportunity.
Can we have a discussion real quick?
You want me to close public hearing?
No.
No, I mean, a discussion with them.
Well,
Oh, Tim?
why don't we close public hearing, then we'll have discussion with them.
Does anybody else?
Wait.
There might be other-
No, somebody else might want to talk.
Well, let's move on and we'll come back.
Let me ask Mr. Jackson. What if we don't take up the amendment from the floor? What if we move forward and I'm asking council, can you do both of these ordinances simultaneously?
Or at least add a contingency
Yeah,
on one.
contingency for the one.
We could add the contingency and we don't need this amendment from the floor.
I mean, we can always come back next month and,
Somebody has to make a
amend.
motion to
Yeah,
bring the amendment
yeah,
to the
we can come back next month and amend if y'all want to amend, because
Well, let me make another comment, that Planning and Zoning made their recommendation subject to some conditions, which, if my memory serves me correct, the owners agreed to. There's nothing about those conditions in these resolutions we're looking at. So if anything, we need another floor amendment or amendments to clarify those conditions, assuming the council chooses to accept those recommendations from Planning and Zoning. And for those, I'll refer to the Planning and Zoning minutes of the 6th, case 1. Included in the body of the Planning and Zoning's recommendation to move forward with it was restrictions on lots 1 to 8, front yard setbacks, front building setbacks, side yard setbacks, and a minimum lot size that cannot be re-subdivided. Now, I've had a conversation with one of the planning and zoning board members since. There were some other things that didn't make it to the minutes, but it's the city's problem, I guess. But we talked about, I believe, not we, I wasn't a party to the conversation. I believe there was some discussion about deed restrictions of some sort. And none of that's in what we're looking at. I'm sorry. We talked about, or it was discussed, that there'd be some sort of deed restrictions on limiting the future re-subdivision of 2 or 3 lots into 4 or 5 lots. And that's not addressed in what we're looking at either. And I'm not opposed to trying to fix these things tonight, but the proposed ordinances we're looking at have some issues with them.
I believe we need to move forward with ordinance 2019-27, the rezoning, predicated on the approval of the re-subdivision, and you could add your amendments to it.
So we at least get the zoning out of the way, and then we work on what you're trying to work on.
And I'm good with that, but in 2019-27, which I think has to go first, we're making reference to a portion of A2B1, which doesn't exist yet. So that requires some wordsmithing also.
Predicated on the approval of 2019-26, which creates that lot.
Creates it.
We can create a paragraph that'll say, like, the herein
Yeah.
proposed ordinance is subject to approval of,
Well,
it's contingent.
Right.
I'll defer to the attorneys on that. Whatever they think will work.
Scott, can we add something in this literature?
We can. The only issue I have is that we have outside attorney here, so I'm gonna defer to her opinion or his opinion on exactly what needs to be done. Because now we've retained an outside attorney, right? That's been dealing with this issue. So for me, I would defer to whatever they say, and they're not here tonight.
Well, the question, Scott, you may be able to help us with this. Can we modify 2019-27, take it first, and correct by condition or whatever else? Condition may be necessary because it's only going to work if 2019-26 is also passed. That's condition number 1. Condition number 2 is there's got to be some wordsmithing in the section 1, the second whereas in section 1, where we're modifying a lot that doesn't exist yet. And I think that has to be corrected in a sentence saying, fixing that in 2019-26 maybe. Because right now, that small portion is becoming a part of A2B1.
Okay? So do we go to?
A2B, A2,
So then we go to the re-sub ordinance and make that contingent upon the
Right.
rezoning.
Either way, you're gonna make
Either way.
contingency, and it's gonna wipe itself
If
out.
you want to designate your A2B1,
Right.
that is in your re-sub ordinance. So if you want to create that parcel first, then you do your re-sub first, but contingent upon the rezoning, which my understanding, y'all's every intention is to vote, correct? Correct. If they don't move forward with the rezoning, it's subject to, so then the ordinance would be.
Correct.
null
It
and
failed.
void.
Right.
It's a contingency,
Right.
correct? So let's establish A2B1A in the rezone, excuse me, the re-sub contingent upon that the.
Or we
that y'all
can-
move forward with the request
so-
of the rezoning.
We can really do it either
It's
way.
null and
We
void.
can, we
It's-
can do this one with the
But I mean,
contingency
I guess I
upon,
see his point, you're establishing a parcel in this first ordinance, it doesn't really exist until you re-sub it first.
and when you go to 2019-26, if we do that first, it's also referring to lot A2B1, which
Right.
doesn't exist yet.
either way, you're gonna
So
have, either way, you're gonna
I
have
think
the
it just
issue.
needs to be,
It's going to exist.
I think we
Yeah.
could
That's what I'm saying,
change
just-
2019-26, make it contingent on 27 passing, but the terminology in the first, the first whereas in paragraph section 1 is referring to a lot that doesn't exist.
But that's what it's,
26 is the re-subdivision.
that's
Correct.
gonna create a 2B1A.
Right. So that's why doing a contingency will work out, because you're actually making the thing tonight. It's all being done tonight. And if it's not done in the next ordinance, then this is null and void. It's like we never passed it.
I'd say move forward 26, establish a 2B1 contingent upon the rezoning.
So let's do this. I'll make a motion
You
to
can have
take.
the-
We have to
I'll make
close
a
the
motion
public
to
hearing.
take-
Oh, we have to close public
Close
hearing. We have to
Yeah,
close
well,
public
And
hearing.
I
hold
like
on, there are
that.
other things to address, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to close
So do
public
you
hearing?
want to,
So
you want a motion,
Okay.
everything at one time?
Okay.
I want a motion to
Councilman?
close the public hearing on 2019-27 for now.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to close public hearing for 2019-27, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed.
Motion to table 2019-27
Second.
till later in the meeting.
That's tabling. Tabling is not the correct word, is it?
No,
We're gonna amend the agenda.
They want to, we're gonna table it
Tabling
until
meeting.
after we do the next one.
Yeah, we're gonna take,
We're gonna amend the agenda to put 26 before 27.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain, to move forward with ordinance number 2019-26, prior to reading ordinance 2019-27. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yeah.
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 5 yeas, 0 nays. We will now move on to ordinance 2019-26. Madam Clerk?
Proposed ordinance 2019-26. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman Johnston. An ordinance approving the re-subdivision of lots 3 and 6 Colonial Center and Lot 8-2B, Soniatter Chapatulas Plantation Subdivision, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, and the creation of drainage, sewer, utility, and other servitudes, all pursuant to a plan made by Ronald Clement PLS dated July 24, 2019.
Okay, do I have a motion to open for public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing for proposed ordinance 2019-26 is now open. Anyone like to come forth and speak about proposed ordinance 2019-26 may now come do so.
I would like to address some of Mr. Buddy's comments, which I think did pertain to the subdivision. We did distribute a draft of restrictive covenants. Quite honestly, we did have some blanks. For purposes of the setbacks, we would be at least as restrictive as zoning provides. Perhaps we would be more restrictive, but that's not settled yet. But we will have restrictive covenants, which will establish a homeowners association. Whether we have separate associations or different phases of the same association, we just haven't gotten there yet to decide it.
Don't you have to decide that before you sell the lots, sir?
That is true, but, you know, we still need to get through the re-subdivision, and there are other preliminary matters, you know, other lots that might be established. And yes, we would have to present, before anyone could sign a purchase agreement, they'd need to review the restrictive covenants, because they buy into the property with those restrictions.
And whatever isn't covered under those restrictives has to apply for the normal zoning of that subdivision.
That's correct. We can't supersede zoning. Zoning applies. These are extra restrictions. For example, we would have an architectural control committee. You can't build anything until it gets approved. We would have minimum square footage for a house. You don't want to build a mansion and then next door they build a 1,000-foot shack. That's not going to happen.
What about the deed restrictions prohibiting combining and re-subdividing in smaller lots than originally approved?
We can do that, but that document is a private document subject to change. I recommend that you put that in this ordinance, and then that gets recorded in the public records. Everybody is bound by it. And we agreed not to re-subdivide any of these 8 lots.
But future owners would not be bound by,
They would be
Your-
bound by this ordinance, which,
Ordinance.
when they get their title insurance, that's going to be an exception. They're bound by it.
I hear you, I can't opine on that, I hear you. And I still have an issue, this is just me personally, I'm a little anal on documents, where this whole problem of A2B comes about because the developers have decided to have a stub lot. And the issue of the stub lot is separate, but the issue of passing an ordinance and making improper reference to something that doesn't exist, it just strikes me as something that can be challenged, and it doesn't seem appropriate.
That, what you're calling the stub lot, really gets absorbed into the major lot, the
But it's-
A2B.
Yeah, but the sequence of things, what we're doing here is we're modifying in 2019-26, we're making reference to A2B, which doesn't exist yet. I think this could be drafted
But A2,
better.
I'm sorry, A2B does exist.
A2B1.
That's what this re-subdivision requests. When we put the stub lot into A2B, it becomes A2B1.
I think Mr. Buddy's point, and whether I agree with it or not, is that all of the A2B1 could have been avoided had Lot 3 been evenly divided up into 8 lots, rather than leaving that stub lot for the future planning of Colonial. I think that's the only point he's trying to make down there.
We're re-subdividing in 2016 a commercial lot into a residential lot.
Rezoning it into a residential
Well, we're
lot.
re-subdividing.
We moved to re-subdivide.
2019-26 is a re-subdivision ordinance. So we're re-subdividing Lot 3, which is commercial. Part of it is being combined into a new Lot A2B1, which is residential. We're combining a residential lot with a commercial lot.
It's all right.
Ms. Judy? We absolutely are.
Until we rezone it
Right.
in this session.
We're going to keep coming to this
I
problem.
mean,
We
it's
have to
the
fix
cart
the
before the
ordinance.
horse. I mean, it's
That
gotta
are
happen one
contingent
way or
upon-
Problem
another.
exists because of the stub lot. We wouldn't have the stub lot, this technical issue wouldn't exist. But we have the stub lot. So I'm just wanting somebody to tell me how this makes sense, how I can vote for this, how anyone can vote for this when it doesn't exist yet. It's just poor drafting. It may be just a drafting issue. It's
Poor-
not for me to decide how to
Poor
fix it.
draft, and we've been looking at for 4 months now, and we're gonna argue about it tonight? I mean, it should have been addressed earlier.
No, it couldn't be.
I'm ready to move.
Yeah, it all gets rectified with a
Well,
contingency.
I made my comments, council's gonna do what the council wants to do. But I do have some questions for, when it's time, I have some questions for Mr. Jackson also. And I'm hoping you can shed some light on it.
You want to get them now?
I'd like to.
Come on, Mr. Tim.
Yesterday, there was an email from Mr. Suffren.
Tim Jackson.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
a planner with Meyer Engineers.
Thank you, Tim. Yesterday, there was an email from, I believe it was yesterday, from Mr. Suffren to Ms. Durio, who's representing the city in this matter. I haven't had a chance to go through it, and I'm not sure if you have. And I'm not sure how it affects what we have in front of us. And that question may be addressed to Mr. Suffren also, but I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it.
I saw the email. I'm not sure what the issue was that in particular that you're asking.
I'm not asking about anything in particular. I was asking you if you've had a chance to see it, and maybe if you could tell us what it says.
Is that the one where combining the conditional approval and preliminary?
It may have been. Was that all it was?
Yes.
So
So-
it's adding section 1 on that amendment that you passed out.
So if I can explain, the city subdivision regulations, pretty much like everybody else's in the states, is based off of state enabling legislation, and it establishes 3 steps for subdivision approval. Preliminary is conceptual in nature, where they come in and show what they're going to, what lots they're going to create, what infrastructure, what streets they're going to put in, if there's streets involved. And once they get conceptual approval from the city, then that allows them to go out and hire engineers to start designing and the engineering drawings and specifications that'll be used for construction. So that's conditional approval. Once they get conditional approval, that stuff gets built, and final approval is the city approving what was built and allowing, and when that happens, then the lots can be recorded, and they become legal lots of record at that point, as opposed to the one big lot now that where the lots are just on paper. They become legal lots of record, and they can be individually sold. So in this case, since there were no streets involved, and from the beginning, before I was even involved, the developers and the city were talking about infrastructure just on, even on these 8 lots. And as Mr. Suffren said, the original plans call for a boulevard that got, the plans changed, so there's no streets involved. It's the infrastructure for those 8 lots, water and sewer service. So in effect, you have already considered this under the conditional rules of the subdivision regulations, and the preliminary first, and then the conditional. And I think Mr. Suffren's asking that it, which y'all have done in the past, I believe, combine into final where they can go ahead and record those 8 lots. I guess it's really 9 lots because it's also the big commercial lot.
I have another question. Thank you for that answer. We're doing this proposed ordinance. It's subject to the drainage, sewer, and utility servitude per the Clement Plan dated July 24, 2019. Now, I looked at what I have in my packet, and I'm a layman, so I don't know how to interpret that Clement document. I don't know if it describes what the resolution says, that drainage, sewer, and utility servitude are per the Clement Plan dated July 24.
Dated July 24th, you said?
I believe, I may have written, I think that's what it was referring to.
So there's a
July 24, 2019.
So there's this servitude behind those 8 lots that's shown on the plat for, I guess that's the drainage and water and sewer, correct? Or water's in the front? Water's in the front, drainage and sewage in the back.
So
Utility, sir, it's called utility servitude, whatever utilities.
those are recorded servitudes?
They're not recorded yet. Oh, are they?
No, they're not, but
They will be when-
established by the plat.
So when this plat gets recorded, those 8 lots have recorded and become legal lots of record, those servitudes will become established.
Okay. And one thing I read in the package that went to planning and zoning was a report that I believe was prepared by the city, and I would suspect you had some input into it. And in that, it referred to, I believe the term legality was used of rezoning and re-subdivision of Lot 3. Do you recall inserting any kind of reference to legality in that document? I don't have a copy of it. You don't recall?
No, I don't, I mean, the whole thing was about making them legal lots of record. I'm not sure, I don't
Well, I
understand what
can't
that.
quote it, and you're not familiar with it, so we're going. Okay, so, thank you, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate that very much.
I have a question regarding the utilities. I know in the amendments that you handed us, and I don't know if we're going to take them up, but it says that no public utilities were necessary. Well, how did we get the sewer laid back there? Was that approved in the Blake's plat? Is that part of their?
I believe, yes. With their construction, and actually, we had some cost sharing involved. We both contributed to construction of the lift station there, since that was designed to serve not only the Blake, but Colonial too.
Okay.
So it was under their building permit that the sewer line was run.
Where do the electrical lines tie in? Are they in the rear, front?
It's in that rear servitude, I believe.
Okay. That one, I'm not sure about.
I actually am not sure. They're definitely designed to be in that rear servitude. I don't want to be on record as saying they're in there or not.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're done.
I've spoke with your engineers, and they said they're gonna be in that rear servitude. Sewer, water, everything, none of it's gonna be on the front of Kelowna. Everything's gonna have rear service, rear yard service.
You want to close public hearing? Is anybody else here to speak on Colonial?
Judy Johnson. I just have one question for the representative from Meyer Engineers. Had that y'all approved all of the plans for this? All the utility plans, the storage, drainage, water, everything?
I can't answer that because I'm not an engineer. The engineers on here, but they have reviewed it. And I think there were a couple of notes that we wanted to add to the plat, but I think, yes, to answer your question, I think it's yes, with a couple of notes that it needs to be added to the plat.
So that's like a provisional approval? Okay. Please, make sure it's approved before you do this.
Terry Valenti, 191 Colonial Club Drive. I'm not here to stop anything. Y'all have gone over these issues ad nauseum already. I've watched them on TV. Mr. Capella's about to, I don't know, fall asleep or pull the rest of his hair out or something back there.
You don't have much.
But, and I don't have the power to stop development, obviously, at Colonial, or all of my yelling and screaming would have done some good. I do appreciate JW Colonial working with us and putting residents across from us rather than commercial. I wish they would do less commercial. I think there's evidence that commercial is not doing very well these days, and if they made these other lots that they traded or this other property, if they could do something else to it other than paving over and creating more flooding for us. We are going to flood. The property across the street from my house and my neighbors' houses is already built up taller than our lots. The water on the hard rains that we've had have come up more in my yard than they ever have before, and that's just with minimal, I mean, the blade, that's it.
All they did was move dirt. I said
They moved dirt.
they moved, no, I'm agreeing with you that there's significantly more flooding, and all they've done is move dirt. And so
Right.
something needs to be done to make sure when they start building up, that we're not getting more flooding.
Well, that area across the street from me, if anybody ever played golf there, you knew when it rained hard, the water, you couldn't see it riding on the street because there was grass, but it held a lot of water and it soaked a lot of water up. And we are going to flood because of this development. And 2 administrations ago, I presented a lawsuit against the city of New Orleans. I've not shepherdized it to see if it's still the standing law, but residents can sue the city for approving development that we have to suffer for if we flood. So I'm just taking a last stand and saying that the residents are really going to suffer over this development. It's sad. They have made concessions, which I appreciate, but I couldn't let this pass without y'all knowing that it's going to be bad. It's going to be probably worse on Glenwood, and you know, we're going to start flooding. 2 streets over from us already is a major floodway, so there's very little space in there for the water to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Jason Burdick, 7204 Stone Lake. And I think everybody might want to space out a little bit because I think lightning's about to strike, but I actually agree with Judy Johnson on this. Wow. Yeah, I know. Shocking, shocking. It's funny too. But I gotta say, just listening, I actually developed some questions for the engineer. Just sitting back there, and I've been out of town. I apologize. I haven't really had a chance to follow up on a lot of stuff. But Did I hear you correctly that you're gonna tie into the Blake's waste system? Is that correct?
Again, Ed Suffren, I'm a lawyer, not an engineer, but yes,
Okay. What kind of a waste line does the Blakes have?
I can't speak to that. Our engineers have done all the engineering and designed it, and it's my understanding that the Meyer engineers have approved
Okay.
all of the drawings.
And I'm willing to believe. But then my next question is, the Blake's line, I mean, what kind of line is it? What is it?
So again, Danny McCarron, but let me start by saying, so Ed's not qualified, I'm not qualified, but I'll give it a go.
Okay.
So the question is, specifically, you want to know what kind of line?
Yeah, are we talking about a 24-inch pipe, a 4-inch force main? What are we
Do you know
talking
that
about here?
answer?
The city
I don't know,
engineers
it's been
approved.
approved, it's
Okay.
in place.
I believe it's a 4-inch force main.
What, no.
Okay.
They're tying into a natural flow, gravity, that feeds into a lift station.
Uh-huh.
From the lift station out, it's gonna be a 4-inch force main, to my understanding.
Okay. So we have a 4-inch force main that now we're gonna be tying additional waste into. When the engineering was done for the Blakes, did they include and account for this additional
Yes.
waste?
They actually,
Yes.
just to be clear, accounted for more than that. I think it accounted
did.
for 70-something residential homes as well as the rest of the commercial. So just to be clear, that, yeah,
Okay.
that's why it was a shared cost with JW and the Blake.
And it's dropping into where in the regular system? What is it tying into
It's tying
on
into the-
our system?
Into the manhole in front of Riverside Academy.
Riverside Country Club,
Country Club.
on Colonial Club Drive. And then it's gonna take gravity from there to lift station
Six.
six.
Lift station 6.
Lift station 6 is gonna pump it to lift station 8. Lift station 8's gonna pump it to the sewer plant.
See, I thought I remember hearing something about some of these lift stations that were having trouble. Weren't there? Am I crazy here? No, okay. So I think maybe we might want to talk about what will you guys do with regards to the additional lift stations in order to have it go all the way through all these different lift stations to get to where it needs to go.
Yes.
Because I know that some of them had trouble. It makes sense for you guys, if you're going to be tying into a 4-inch force main, which seems kind of small to me, but I'm not an engineer. I'm just a lawyer.
Yeah, no, it's a good
Okay?
point. So to clarify, we are having discussions with the city right now.
Okay.
These 8 lots aren't the issue, but we are having the Englobo discussion on exactly that.
Okay, because it seems to me you got to fix all of the rest of the problems before this problem becomes real.
I don't think I'd disagree with you. I don't think that I tell you, the council's working pretty hard, heavily in agreeance with you.
Fantastic, thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler. Public hearing is now closed. Any council discussion?
Well, I'd like somebody to tell us what we're changing, what we're voting on, and if we're going to add anything regarding deed restriction type language. Because I'm not sure what we're even going to vote on.
I mean, I think deed restrictions would come at a later time, maybe when the development, if it progresses further. I think we're kind of bringing too much before we're here to address now, but that's.
I do believe we need to make a
No, I think there
motion
needs to, okay.
to amend
No, we do.
2019,
20.
26, predicated on
No,
approval
I
of
was
20.
getting to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I know Mr. Buddy brought up deed restrictions. I mean, definitely because they're not a simultaneous ordinance, and you have to create one and give the other. So if we're gonna move forward with the re-subdivision to create the A2B1, which is in the ordinance of the rezoning, then one ordinance approval would be subject to the adoption. It's like y'all just can't withdraw this rezoning. That's agreed.
Okay, so you want to make the motion?
So, wait, I gotta put some more in here. I have a few minutes.
Can we take a 5-minute recess?
Move for a 5-minute recess.
Okay, so we are, just to refresh, we are on proposed ordinance number 2019-26, and we are preparing an amendment, which Councilman Asbill will, or Councilman Wheeler will?
Really? Not really.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Wheeler. Mike's on.
So we're gonna make a motion to amend ordinance 2019 -26. We're going to add Section 8 to read the following. The adoption of the herein ordinance is contingent upon the passing and adoption of ordinance 2019-27.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Wheeler to add
Second.
that paragraph to ordinance 2019-26. Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Amendment is added.
Time out. We gotta open the public
Open
hearing.
public
on the
hearing.
I'm
amendment.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Move
God,
to open
dog it.
public hearing on the
Can't vote on
amendment.
that. So, all right, motion to open for public hearing on the amendment for 2019-26.
Motion.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open.
Who seconds that
Anyone-
motion?
I'm sorry, Councilman Chatterling seconded.
Charlie?
All right, so anyone coming to speak on the
Amendment.
amendment? All right, no one coming to speak for it. To have a motion to close public hearing.
Moved.
Motion.
By Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yay.
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Okay, do we have a motion on the floor to add the amendment, which Councilman Wheeler just read? You want to read it one more time?
Yeah, we
amend-
did, we already did that.
Added it.
We already did that, then we open up
Yeah,
for
we
public
already-
hearing,
so
now
now
we're
it's
just,
okay.
We just need to vote on the
All right, so now
amendment.
we have, all right, so we have a motion for proposed ordinance 2019-26.
Amendment, we're just
Oh, so
voting
you're
on the
voting-
amendment
Motion
right
vote.
now.
Are you voting on the amendment?
Yes.
Well, you-
On the,
Okay.
vote on the ordinance.
All in
as amended.
favor of the amendment?
Yay.
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 All right, 5 yeas, 0
Nay.
nays. Of
1 day.
4 yeas, 1 nay.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we get that motion to, we need a motion in a second to,
yeah, carry motion. I
Carry
second.
motion.
motion?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, now, do we have a motion to vote on proposed ordinance 2019-26?
Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler.
I'd like final discussion on the amended product.
Okay.
I believe the previous council approved of this entire plan to re-subdivide Lot 8 and create lots. And I think that is in the best interest of the community. And I am not happy with what I'm gonna keep referring to as the stub lot, for lack of any better term. But I do believe this is in the best interest of the city of Harahan. And my vote's gonna be based upon that. I'm not gonna let the perfect interfere with the good. Thank you.
I agree. Just a quick comment. I think this is a win-win for the city and for the developers. They're getting those extra 8 lots there. The only other comment I have is that we need to come up with a sewer solution so that we can accommodate these 8 lots and also the other 77 or however much is going to be on the back, so that we don't start blowing up in people's homes. So
I've spoke with the engineers, the developers plenty of times. Engineers said these 8 lots are not gonna affect the sewer. What we're adding to the system that already has, that feeds the Blake to that lift station, these 8 lots are not gonna put an impact to that system. So I'm very comfortable with what we have.
Just one more caveat, it does allow that residential buffer to buffer, the residents that have been longtime residents on Colonial against the commercial. So, again, I was definitely instrumental in putting that together, me and Councilman Johnson. So, that's a great thing for our residents that have been living there. All right, so we have a motion.
Motion for the
we have
vote.
All right,
Second.
all right, motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Chatterling. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, ordinance passes. Now we're gonna come back to proposed ordinance 2019-27.
Motion to move back.
Mr.
Y'all got a motion?
or, excuse me,
You have
sorry.
a motion to move?
Mayor, I want a motion to move, amend the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to amend the agenda to move back to proposed ordinance 2019-27.
No, sir. Motion to amend the agenda to take up proposed ordinances 2019-29 and 2019-30 at this time.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Who seconded that?
Second by Councilman Chatterling. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Alrighty. Proposed ordinance number 2019-29. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman.
I'll second.
Whoever, Johnson.
All right, Johnston. An ordinance to rename Hebe Lane to Pontiff Lane.
Okay, can I make a little statement? Okay. Mr. Claude Pontiff is here in the audience. He purchased this property here over 50 years ago and still owns all of it today. He, his daughter, and his granddaughter are here, and we would like to thank them very much for coming out tonight and their continued support of Harahan. So we wanted to say thank you, guys. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to, all right, so I'm sorry, we got a,
Motion over public
like to
hearing.
open for public hearing, ordinance number, y'all got me again.
2019-29.
Anyone like to
29.
come speak?
Yeah, she want to come speak?
Who wants a motion to open that?
Motion.
I'll take
Y'all
that.
got me.
You bet.
on.
Check.
Vice Mayor Wheeler?
Whoever.
So we're on 29.
Cole again?
Thank you, council members, and actually, I was on the council for 8 years. Appreciate what you guys are going through tonight, and thank you for accommodating this. Mr. Pontiff is a veteran. He's been a great member of this community and metropolitan area, doing numerous service work for decades. And it's a great part of your job, after going through so much work, to be able to recognize a citizen. And I think as your years go by, this will be one of your prouder moments of recognizing Mr. Pontiff for his work and giving him the street name.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We got it, thank you.
My name is Charles Marcella. I am actually a resident of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do you have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
All right, motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Johnson, public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
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 5 yeas, 0 nays, public hearing is now closed. Okay. Council discussion?
No discussion.
Okay, no council discussion?
I'm just gonna go ahead and make a statement. You know, when we do get the actual street signs made, we're gonna pay for an extra street sign, and we'll get it delivered to you, Mr. Claude. That way you'd have that for your sake, and that'll be paid with private funds. Thank you.
Mr. Pontus, I want to thank you for your service to our country and our community. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to proceed with ordinance 2019-26?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by,
Second.
oh, it's 2019-30?
It's 29.
29,
Ah.
29.
Motion 20, I'm looking, all right, motion for
Motion.
proposed ordinance 2019-29.
Yeah, motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by,
Second.
second by Councilman Wheeler, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion passes.
Thank you.
And now we're bringing up 30.
Thank you.
All right, proposed ordinance number 2019-30. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman, who would like to second this one?
Uh,
I'll take it.
29-30.
Yes, sir.
It had Wheeler on it, but Shetland. It had Wheeler on
Oh, no.
We'll stick with Wheeler.
it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. An ordinance approving the re-subdivision of 563 Randolph Avenue, Lot 7, Square 7, Royland Subdivision, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, made by Gilbert Kelly and Couture Incorporated, dated August 29, 2019, and 573 Randolph Avenue, Lot 8, Square 7, Royland Subdivision, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, made by Gilbert Kelly and Couture Incorporated, dated August 29, 2019.
Okay, do I have a motion to open for public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by?
Second.
Second by Councilman Wheeler, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, public hearing is now open. No one coming to speak forth on this ordinance. Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by
Second.
Councilman Buddy, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, public hearing is now closed. Council discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion?
Yeah, I do have discussion.
Oh, boy.
I'm in favor of this whole project. I do know, I believe when we talked with sewer department and all, the sewer line is coming from, I believe, Randolph. So I believe we need to make sure the owners understand they're responsible for the total cost of that sewer line to tie into that property. They're responsible for their drainage, you know, on the back of that property, and other than that, I think we're ready to move forward.
Can I ask a question to the people that
You can come up to the podium.
I'm Judith Arsenault. I'm one of the owners of the property
Ma'am.
that's
And
being, I'm Judith Arsenault, one of the owners that are in the property. Now, my neighbor has built up her property higher than the chain wall, and it does drain onto my property. When I built my house, I put underground drainage in, so my water coming off my house and some of the other water goes out to the street. So we did take care of some of that for my property, so it wouldn't go onto my mother's property. Now, what recourse do I have for my neighbor that the city has allowed to, fill in that property?
You would have to call here and talk to the regulatory department and see if
Okay.
they could send someone out to look at it.
Okay.
I did drive by there a few times. I do believe y'all have a drainage issue there.
Mhm.
It looks like your property, I believe, is the newer house,
Mhm.
drains towards the back, which would be this back property that's being cut off.
Mhm.
So when it drains towards the back, then it's gonna roll into your mother's property, which is very low. I do think y'all have a drainage issue, but that's gonna be on y'all 100%.
understand that.
I think y'all gonna have a little issue to address there. I mean, possible chain walls, subsurface
Right.
drainage, but that's gonna be on y'all 100%. I mean,
Right.
that's not something.
Well,
and
we've
I'm
already
putting
got
it on
the
a record.
subsurface drainage on hers as well. We all did that when I built my house.
Correct. We just need to make sure it's not tied into the back part when y'all
Yeah.
cut that back piece off, because you can look at the property,
Yeah,
see
they're
how it
gonna
kind
we're
of
gonna have to
slopes.
put a chain wall.
Chain
so
wall,
that
and
it
then they would
slopes
slope to the
correctly.
side street, and then y'all would have to retain y'all water back to Randolph.
Mhm.
So as long as y'all clear on that, I think we can move
clear
forward
as-
with it.
That's what I
And-
understood my
And basically,
responsibilities were.
the sewer tie-in, I mean, I think they have to go a little ways for a sewer tie-in, so it's not gonna be just a normal $1,500 sewer connection,
no,
you know?
I-
And the
has-
sewer tie-in will have to be done by an approved vendor of the
Right.
city, because it is gonna be on city property.
Yeah, I anticipated that. What about, the people across the street, when they built a million years ago, that's on Forshey, are they coming from Randolph as well, or did they get to come from Woodward?
I don't know that answer, but when it's time, I mean, you could come in, talk to regulatory and the sewer
Okay.
department and see if they could find the cheapest route, but I mean, y'all are responsible 100% for
understand
the
that.
sewer. If there's a way they could go across and tie into that,
Nobody wants a park back there.
Right, I'm
I'm
possible.
tired of cutting the park.
I'm possible, you know, whatever we could do to help save money, but it will be
Yeah.
an approved vendor through the city.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Judith.
All right, do I have a motion to proceed with the vote?
Motion to close
Oh, I'm
public
sorry,
hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by
We
Councilman
already did
Johnson,
that. We
second.
on
Oh, we already did? Oh, she just came up because, okay, I got you.
Move
Y'all
to
threw
proceed
me
with the
off.
vote.
Y'all threw me
All right,
off.
do I have a motion to proceed with the vote?
Moved.
Motion.
All right, motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson, all in favor?
Yeah,
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, subdivision is granted.
Threw me
Thank
off
you.
by doing that.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you want to come
Back
back.
to number 27.
Now we're going back 27? Motion to go back
All right,
27?
so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Johnson, second
Second.
by Councilman Buddy to go back to proposed ordinance number 2019-27. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Do we have to open it for public hearing? Okay, I'd like to
Sure.
open for a public hearing, the motion to go back to ordinance 2019-27.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open. Okay, no one coming to speak forth on that, to re-propose ordinance number 2019-27. I'd like to make a motion. Can I get a motion to close
Yeah.
public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. All right, now proposed ordinance 2019-27, council discussion.
No discussion.
Well, I'd like to make
Well-
an amendment
Okay,
to proposed ordinance, I'm sorry.
you want to read it again? Okay, go ahead.
Sure. Sure, go ahead.
2019-27 was an ordinance approving the rezoning of lots 1 through 8, Colonial Place, Phase 1, and portion of A2B1, Soniat or Chapatoulas Plantation, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, as per plan made by Ronald Clement, PLS, dated July 24, 2019, and further approving the rezoning of a portion of Lot 6A, Colonial Center, Soniat or Chapatoulas Plantation, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, as per plan made by Ronald Clement, dated July 24, 2019.
Point of order, since we've read the title now, can we make sure that there's no public
Yes.
comment on that?
Do we
Motion.
have a motion to open for public hearing?
Yes.
Motion.
All right, motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open. Okay, no one coming to speak forward. To have a motion to close public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to amend proposed ordinance 2019-27.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Wheeler to amend proposed ordinance 2019-27.
To read as follows. We would add section 5 to read, "The adoption of the herein ordinance is contingent upon the adoption and passing of ordinance 2019-26."
Okay, can I get a motion to open for public hearing on the amendment? Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Anyone come to speak forth on that amendment? No one coming forth on the amendment. Do you have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. All right, do I have a motion to add the amendment to proposed ordinance 2019-27?
Yes.
Motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
No.
Oh, 4 yeas, 1 nay. Amendment passes, 4 yeas, 1 nay. Now, do I have a motion to vote on proposed ordinance 2019-27?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas. Is that a nay?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance passes unanimous. Thank you, guys.
Do you want the wording?
Can we take a minute?
Want to take a point of order?
Point of order?
Okay, I have Eric Chatelain would like to, Councilman Chatelain would like to take a point of order for some discussion.
Don't leave, Jack. This is directed to JW Colonial. You know, we're going to sit here and say, I mean, and as y'all know, I was on this for 7 years ago up here dealing with these same issues. And, you know, I sat up here and I asked for a full development plan. If we had a full development plan 7 years ago, we wouldn't be in here wasting your time and our time. We went through this here and we're going through, and as Mr. Buddy would call it, a stub lot?
Yeah, stop, I'm referring to as stub. I created that term.
He created the term stub lot. So basically, we're going to sit up here and say, we don't know what we're doing with the property. We don't know what we're doing with the property. If we don't know what we're doing with the property, the stub lot shouldn't have been created. I don't believe it's considered a stub lot. I'm going to ask y'all to come up with a plan for the rest of the property. It's hard for us to judge if we're going to come in here and piecemeal this thing piece by piece by piece. I understand if you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. But let's try really hard to get a full plan, and let's develop the rest of this property as one, if possible, or two. You know, I don't want to come in here every month. I mean, I don't want to sit up here for the next 3 years arguing with people over Colonial Country Club. I would love for y'all to come back, and I know it's not easy to do, and I know it probably sounds sour, but I'd love to have a full development plan so we can move forward with this project and answer all of these questions and spend 3 months, 4 months getting it together instead of coming in here piecemealing it. So I'm going to sit up here and ask y'all if y'all could help us and do that. And I know it's kind of hard, you know, but let's come back with some big chunks and decide what we're going to do. 7 years ago, we sat in here, we listened to a developer come in here and say, we did studies, you know, we're going to put commercial up front. You're going to get $1 million a year. You know, that's 7 years ago. We haven't seen some permit fees, you know. We're looking to move forward. I feel the city's moving forward in a positive way right now, and y'all are a major part that can help us move forward tremendous. I appreciate what y'all doing. I think y'all doing a first-class job over there. Let's come back with a full plan if we can, and master plan, and move this thing forward from here if we can. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
5-minute recess, please.
You good?
5-minute recess.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to take a 5-minute recess.
Second.
Second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. All right, calling the meeting back to order.
Hold on, we need to go.
They just want to run the restroom real quick.
$8:52.
Oh, we're waiting on the cold.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Restroom.
Yeah, first, add the words, if, and after the words, in addition to that, because talking about waivers, so you put if, and then.
Check. Make sure she get beat up out there. She ain't get beat up. Ain't gonna be a bad.
All right, now we're good. Did you stop it, or you got restarted, or what?
Okay, Madam Clerk. 8:53, calling the meeting back at 8:53.
All right. All right.
Up.
31.
All right, we're on proposed ordinance number 2019-31. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman Wheeler. An ordinance amending the Harahan Code of Ordinances by the addition of Chapter 19, Harahan Regulatory Court, and related regulations and bylaws.
Okay, do I have a motion open for public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open. Would anyone like to come speak about proposed ordinance 2019-31?
Oh, sorry about that.
Mm.
Judy Johnson. This ordinance creates a whole new court. We already have a court. This ordinance hires another person to be a public hearing officer. You have one, he's called a judge. You really don't need this ordinance. If you want to change the rules and regulations for the regulatory people, fine. But you don't need to create another officer. This is ridiculous. Okay? That's how I feel. I don't think anybody wants a czar who is going to be able to take your home according to this ordinance if you don't comply. That's ridiculous.
Ms. Judy, I would beg to differ with you because I think that if you go look at the home on Generis and Citrus, or the lot on Solvay and Hickory, you would, if you lived right next to those, you'd probably want those stiffest laws possible.
Move to close the public hearing.
Public hearing, motion by Councilman Asbill, second by
Second.
Councilman Johnson to close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Okay, council discussion.
Got a couple of real small amendments, if I can just go through those real quick. And there's one amendment that that we need probably some discussion on. So can we do the small amendments first, vote on those? And so going to make a motion to amend section 19-2, changing the minimum practice time for the hearing officer to 5 years
Instead of 2?
instead of 2. Adding the phrase in, I'm sorry, section 19-2C, adding the phrase in accordance with law at the end of the first paragraph.
To do the following
In accordance with law. Section 19-4, paragraph A, the penalties for each violation shall be in accordance with law. And removing be at the discretion of the hearing officer.
Removing, what's that?
So the assessments of the penalties shall be in accordance with law and remove.
At the discretion of the
So,
hearing officer. Yeah.
Why don't you read maybe how we should
So that new paragraph will read, the penalties for each violation shall be not exceed $500 exclusive of cost. The assessment of penalties shall be in accordance with the law. Each day that violations continue after due notice has been served shall be deemed a separate offense. A schedule of penalties may be established by ordinance providing penalties for specific code violations. Paragraph B, adding the terms if any. So it'll be in addition to penalties, if any, comma, costs and expenses shall be assessed. And those are the easy amendments there.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to open to public hearing for Councilman Asbill's amendments. Motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. The public hearing is now open on Councilman Asbill's amendments. All right, no one's coming to speak forth on those amendments, so I have a motion to close public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed.
Move to adopt those
Okay.
amendments.
Motion by Councilman Asbill to adopt those amendments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Amendments are adopted. Is that it?
Now, there's further discussion on a proposed amendment that, what paragraph was that, Mr. Buddy?
19.4A, I believe.
19.4-A.
Penalties?
Yes. You want to discuss the issue you have there?
Yeah, the issue is, as just amended, it provides for no discretion. And we recognize that there may be some people in violation, found to be in violation, that have a severe hardship. So while we don't want waivers to be the norm, we recognize there may be a situation where it's the right thing. So adding a sentence in here to this provision, 19-4A penalties, that would read along these lines, notwithstanding anything in this subsection to the contrary, comma, the penalties may be in an amount less than, now I had code of ordinances, but I believe we're using the term law. Correct, Councilman Asbill? Subject to, and I wrote 3 conditions here for consideration that all have to be met. 1, the submission of a sworn affidavit from the violator stating that such codified penalty shall place an extreme financial burden on the violator. Violator is a term used in the ordinance. 2, the submission of the violator of documents indicating such extreme financial burden. And 3, the written concurrence of the mayor of the city of Harahan. So the judge can, with these conditions, somebody saying that this is an extreme financial hardship, can get a waiver if they sign an affidavit, present something, tax return showing their income, whatever, and get the mayor's concurrence. And that would allow for a process where somebody is going to be put in an extreme hardship position, and they provide minimum proof that that's a true statement, they swear to it, and the mayor concurs with the judge.
My comment is, I totally agree that there should be some discretion here for the hearing officer. The way you have the stipulations, I'm worried that we're placing too much of a burden for them to prove that hardship.
Right.
Maybe it should just be at the discretion of the hearing officer with the concurrence of the mayor.
Just that. I don't think anybody should be providing their tax returns or
Right.
We want to
bank
make it
statements. I mean,
reasonable.
that's a
I'm
little.
fine with that.
I have another issue with doing that. I mean, basically, you're gonna have somebody who could own property for 50 years, a commercial lot that they're renting out, and they're gonna sit here and say, you know, it's a financial burden, I can't fix it. You know, it's commercial property. I mean, if it's your home, I understand to an extent, but you're gonna get played on that.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how else to
Right.
say it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean-
that's why we want to, we want to have a process.
Did you not think
but
it's
we
at the
wanna put some
discretion of the
teeth in
hearing
it,
officer
Eric.
and the mayor anyway?
Not right
That's
now, it's
exactly-
not. Right now, it's not.
But I think
We
that's
wanna
what it
make-
should,
Ultimately
I
gonna
think
come-
that's what it should be. I don't think
It
anybody
was until we changed it. So, I mean, I would say go back to just assessment of penalties should be at the discretion of the hearing officer.
And/or-
And I
And
do
leave it at
think,
that.
I do think there should be some concurrence with the mayor.
Or
Yeah.
mayor.
Yeah,
That way
well,
you
I
can leave
think,
it there.
and we've had an incident recently that's come to my attention in the city of Harahan where somebody did something that I didn't think was appropriate, and it was done without any knowledge. And I think it was just providing too much discretion to the person who made that ruling. So I'd like to make sure there's concurrence.
Well, then do the discretion of the hearing officer and
And the
mayor.
mayor. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Shall be at the discretion of the hearing officer.
Eric,
in concurrence with the
Councilman Chatelain?
I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, when you start throwing in financial hardship and all this, I mean,
You change this.
mayor. Yeah, we're adding it back.
people could come up with, I mean, that's
Oh,
not that hard to
absolutely.
come up with
Absolutely.
documentation saying that.
With the
Well,
mayor and-
it's still got to be at the discretion of the judge.
and.
Right.
You have to make a statement, they get to consider it,
Shall be, yeah.
and the mayor has to concur. But I'm fine with,
Yeah, I'd take the financial hardship out. I mean, that's just gonna be
Right.
people coming in here trying to push it off, you know, to get more time.
for
And
what other reason would you waive it? Other than financial hardship? I mean, there ought to be a reason to waive.
I mean, you could have
A
people,
penalty.
I mean, I agree. I mean, you could have people who, you know, lost family members, you know, the property could be tied up in a succession, you know, but you have to put times on that, you know, and they could sit there and say it's a financial hardship because they didn't go through succession yet, and they didn't establish, you know, and final out the estate. I mean, I'm telling you now, I know properties here where the people can't afford to fix them, and you throw this on them, they coming in with a financial hardship.
Right.
So what would you recommend
Just leave it at discretion of the hearing officer and the mayor.
And the
Okay,
mayor.
that's fine.
So I move to amend the proposed ordinance, section 19-4, paragraph A, under penalties, shall read, "The penalties for each violation shall not exceed $500 exclusive of cost. The assessment of penalties shall be in accordance with law and be at the discretion of the hearing officer in concurrence with the mayor. Each day that violations continue after due notice has been served shall be deemed a separate offense. A schedule of penalties may be established by ordinance providing penalties for specific code violations."
There you go.
So we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill.
Second.
For that amendment.
Second by Councilman Wheeler for that amendment.
Move to open the public hearing on the
Okay,
amendment.
move to open the public hearing by Councilman Asbill, second by?
Second.
Second by Councilman Wheeler, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5
Yay.
yeas, 0 nays, public hearing is now open on Councilman Asbill's amendment. No one coming to speak forth on that amendment. Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Moved.
Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5
Yay.
yeas, 0 nays, public hearing is now closed. All right, do we have a motion on the floor to adopt
Any
the
further
amendment?
discussion?
No discussion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to adopt the amendment to 194-A by Councilman Asbill, second by
Second.
Councilman Wheeler, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, amendment is adopted. Do we have a, can we move with the vote of proposed ordinance 2019-31?
That's all amendment you have?
That's all I have.
I think that's it.
Okay, do we have a,
Motion.
a motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by,
Second.
second by Councilman Chatelain for proposed ordinance 2019-31, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinances for introduction? I'm sorry,
Ordinances for
Madam Clerk.
introduction. Proposed ordinance number 2019-32. The following ordinance was proposed unanimously by the council. An ordinance amending ordinance number 1866, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019 for the city of Harahan, Louisiana. Proposed ordinance number 2019-33. The following ordinance was proposed unanimously by the council. An ordinance adopting the annual budget of revenue and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020 for the city of Harahan, Louisiana. There is no old business. New business number 1. Miss Judy Roman, on behalf of St. Rita, asks for your assistance in planning the annual Feast of Christ the King procession. The procession is scheduled for Sunday, November 24th, after the 11:30 a.m. Mass, and Ms. Roman asks that the city provide barricades and a police escort.
Chief, you good with that, Chief? Chief, you good with that? With the question? Okay, do I have a motion to open for public hearing?
Second.
Second by Councilman Wheeler, all in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, public hearing is now open. No one coming to speak forth on this, what do you call it, the procession? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Asbill, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, okay. Do I have a motion to grant? Motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, procession is approved.
All right, new business number 2, Chief Walker and the Harahan Police Department are requesting permission to hold the Harahan Christmas Parade on Saturday, December 14th at 12 p.m. The route begins
6025.
Okay, do I have a motion open for public hearing on the Christmas parade?
Motion.
I'm-
Second?
Correction, way, Chief?
6025 Jefferson
the address
Highway,
should
the
be instead of
address.
5350, should be 6325.
Okay, well, that's what's on the
6025.
flyer. It says 5350.
Yeah, on the agenda, it's different.
Okay,
Motion.
motion to open the Christmas parade on public hearing. Anybody want to
Second.
speak about the Christmas parade? Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open. Okay, no one coming to speak about the Christmas parade. Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion to approve said
Motion.
Christmas parade? We have a motion by Council. Oh, do y'all want to discuss this Christmas parade?
No discussion.
I'm excited.
I do have a little discussion on the Christmas parade.
Oh, there you go.
And I know the chief's aware, there's a wedding at the courtyard on Fultz, the day of the Christmas parade.
Yeah, yeah.
You think we can throw a little second line in?
I think we just need to try to be courtesy, and ask the chief to try to patrol that the best they can to make sure these people can get to their wedding.
Eastbound on Jefferson Highway, we'll stop the parade so they can turn into the Fultz.
Yeah, and we just need that.
Do we know what time that wedding's for?
I want to say they're guessing 2 to
Oh, it should be
3.
finished, huh?
Yeah, it's close. And I think it's a small reception, so it's after the wedding, so they don't know exactly what time they're gonna get there. I'm sure they're gonna,
We'll
but
figure it out.
we just need to work with him and just be courtesy, try not to park in their parking lot. I'm sure he'll have people out there stopping you from parking in his parking lot, but would appreciate it if people could work with us on that. Thank you.
Before the Christmas parade, is that when Breakfast with Santa is? Do you wanna?
I believe it is.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman
Second.
Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, 5 yeas, 0 nays. Parade is approved.
All right,
No Grinches.
new business number 3, Todd Tooney on the Finance Director for monthly financials with budget to actual comparisons for October.
Oh, Toddy.
Good evening, Council. My name is Todd Tooney, Finance Director for the city. Just wanted to give a brief financial update through October 31st, that we've provided actual amounts through October 31st to the council and to the mayor for their review. In addition, we've projected the revenues and expenses for the last 2 months of the year to obtain a projected activity for revenues and expenses for the 12-month period for the year ended December 31, 2019. A few items of note, just wanted to make the public and the council aware of. One is that we're currently projecting sales tax revenue for the 2019 year to be higher than budget, and that's based on just the current receipts through October. Second, group hospitalization expenses, which is the health insurance costs that the city pays for the city employees, is less than budget for 2 reasons. One, we had budgeted a little excess in there, and then for 2, when the city changed service providers in July, the city was able to obtain a lower cost coverage. So we've realized some savings there. And then thirdly, the city has been working diligently over the past few weeks on transition to a new financial institution, to a new bank. And that's nearly complete, with the goal and benefit of that transition to reduce and nearly eliminate banking fees, as well as increase the interest income that the city receives on its deposit amounts. So that's a few items of note that we just wanted to make the public and the council aware of. We've had a number of meetings with individual council members, as well as the mayor and the police chief, to review the actual amounts to date, as well as projected budget amounts for the year ended December 31, 2019. And then we are currently projecting an overall increase in fund balance for the 2019 year that will overall meet budget expectations in the general fund for the city. So that's a brief update. I open to any questions that the council may have.
No question.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and address the council.
Business number
We got
four.
4,
Number 4?
the budget meeting.
All right, special meeting. Call for a special meeting on, where are we? Hold on. On Tuesday, December 10th at 6 PM for 2020 budget hearing, and waive notice of that meeting.
Move to open a public hearing regarding the special meeting.
All right.
Second.
Announcement.
I have a motion by Councilman Asbiel, second by Councilman, who was that?
Buddy.
Councilman Buddy to open for public hearing about the special meeting Tuesday, December 10th at 6 PM. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open. No one coming to speak about the special meeting for the budget. Do I have a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Asbiel, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed.
Move to approve.
All right, move to approve by Councilman Asbiel. I'm sorry, move to waive notice by Councilman Asbiel, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
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 5 yeas, 0 nays. Notice has been waived. Special meeting Tuesday, December 6th, 6 PM, budget hearing.
December 10th.
I'm sorry, December 10th, 6 PM. Clear?
All right, now address the
Trust the
council.
council.
Okay, would anyone like to address the council? Please state your name and address at the podium. Could y'all?
Judy Johnson. Come on this side. I have some questions for Mr. Turleon. Could you, I have your report that I printed out. The civil service is 819% over budget.
If that's what the report says.
That's what the report says, but
This is, it's not.
there's, with the bills that I've seen from the check register, there's $6,830 that's not accounted for. Do you know what that went for?
No, not with the information that I have here in front of me.
Okay.
Ms. Judy, if you put those questions in writing, we'll get you the answers.
Yeah, I can.
When I put
I'll
them
be
in
happy to
writing,
look
nobody
into-
answers. So, also on the millage, police millage, we collected, or are projecting to collect $427,000, but in the amended budget, you only have $282,000. Why? Why did y'all take that millage out? That money is dedicated to the police department.
Is that the over, that's
You have an answer?
Yeah,
I mean,
It's an easy answer. Go ahead.
yeah, that's an easy answer. So the police millage, we had mentioned in some prior public meetings that the city's intent is to set up a new fund, a new special revenue fund for that police millage for the year ended December 31, 2019. That fund has not been created as of today, but what that adjustment does is adjust the numbers so that the ending projected net or increase in net assets for the city for the year is properly reported.
So you're going to put $282,000 in a special fund?
No, the police millage revenue is 450,000.
Right, 427. Well, 452 here.
Correct. That will be in a special revenue fund, and then the eligible expenses, salary compensation and related compensation costs will be transferred from that special revenue fund to the general fund.
For what?
May I make a comment, please?
Yeah.
The millage was more money than was required by the package of raises approved. What's going to happen is every year, there will be raises, compounded on raises, compounded on raises. So the amount of money that the finance department has computed for 2019 is going to grow. Well, so I wish I had something to graph it out with, but I can't do it in the air. Nobody would be able to understand. What's going to happen, there'll be a point in time in the future that we can only estimate.
That the millage isn't going to
The
cover?
millage isn't going to cover it. So the
Got it.
money will stay in that fund, only be used for its intended purpose, which is, it's a
Raises for the
series of
police department.
computations. In 2020, the amount that was used, which was what, Todd, it was 282,000 was used, the estimate?
In,
19.
To 19, I'm
it's
sorry.
an estimate.
I know,
at this
and
point,
it's going to be
approximately
fine-tuned.
280.
But that amount's going to grow. And then it's going to grow, and it's going to grow. And
But
one day,
that's what I'm
Surplus is
asking.
gonna come down.
So-
Is the 292,969 going to be in that account?
no.
That's all you're
the-
putting in
the-
that
the
account?
delta-
That's the difference.
The delta is.
That's
The 292 was used in 19, correct?
That's the estimate. that
The
will be
estimate
used
of the
for
amount
the
that will be
12-month period
used in
2019.
19.
In the
So
budget?
the difference is going to go into the fund, and that money will grow in the early years.
All right.
The fund will grow,
Gotcha.
and it will only be used when the raised money in the future exceeds the millage.
I understand that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Move to give Ms. Johnston one additional minute since we had some
Okay, we have a
discussion
motion
here.
by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson to give Ms. Judy one more minute. All in
Okay.
favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, and last time I asked this, I was told that the legal fees in the police department covered the police department's attorney for the Civil Service Board, but I still don't see it in here. You only have $41,000 for legal fees.
Email us a question or send us something. I'll be happy to research it and look into it.
All right, I'll send this to you tomorrow.
Perfect.
Could you clarify for the city finance director, what do you think's missing? You see 41,000
Right.
in the report.
Right.
Do you have reason to believe it's more than that?
Yes and no. I'll explain it in my email to him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Phil Ramone, 179 Colonial Club. I've been a resident of Harahan for over 50 years. I've recently reached out to Councilman Shadley, talked to the mayor this week as well. I expressed my concerns. They shared some of the same concerns that I did. They had a different take on, but they invited me to come tonight and speak and ask difficult questions. Some of these questions are not pleasant. They're not here. I'm not here expecting an answer from anyone tonight. It's an opportunity for y'all to go and research and try to get some answers. So I made y'all aware of what my questions were, and y'all said to come. So in recent months, there's been several allegations that have been brought to light by civil service meetings.
Do you want me to go to the other mic?
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Phil, could you, I apologize.
Yeah, we had you right over there.
We
for no
did,
reason.
sorry.
Is this any better?
Oh, yes, much
Okay.
better.
So, basically, there's been a few allegations or complaints that have been brought to light during civil service hearings, also through social media, through the media, and I'm not here to say which ones are factual and which ones are rumors, but they're very disturbing. And speaking with Councilman Shadlane, he said he was going to share my concerns with the chief and ask him to address some of them tonight. And I think the chief chose not to, which is his prerogative. But some of the more alarming concerns that I have that was brought out during the civil service is that we have missing weapons that belong to the Harahan Police Department. And I'm not talking about just one pistol. I think Eric and I's conversation is he was aware of one pistol. I'm of the impression that we have a MP5, which is a fully automatic machine gun. I'm sure you're aware of what they are. And that is a machine gun that is capable of shooting probably 30 rounds, probably enough to shoot everyone in this room in less than 3 or 4 seconds. That's, no? Do you know the cycle rate of an MP5?
If we could just keep this to address the council, sorry. Please, no interruptions from the gallery. Thank you.
It's a weapon that is not sold to the public. It is a military-style weapon or a law enforcement-style weapon. It is a dangerous weapon, and it's missing. And it's stolen from the Harahan Police Department. We also have shotguns that are missing. We also have issues where we have currency missing from the evidence room. I was told between $7,000 and $8,000. Never in my 50 years, through all the different political rifts between different factions and mayors and police chiefs, we've never had a police department that has been in crisis the way I see this one. And this is not a dig or a knock on any individual. I'm told that there's things moving in the right direction. It's change. Change creates animosity. Change doesn't come easy. I understand that. I'm willing to give someone the benefit of the doubt, but I do believe it's time for the police department to step forward, Chief Walker, and address the public. At civil service hearings, we had law enforcement officers accusing each other of lying. We had law enforcement officers claiming one's kicking in shots fired and there was no shots fired, and one's claiming he reported things and the other one's saying he was ordered to take stuff out of reports, falsify reports, change reports. If it's true, just address it. These things should come out. If they're under investigation, tell us it's an internal investigation. But this should be addressed. Some of the concerns that were brought forward during these civil service hearings are criminal. Do we have active criminal investigations going on? I've tried to get to the bottom. I've tried to speak to individuals, and I can't get any answers. But we spend a lot of money and just passed a millage protecting our community, and we've been told we live in a bedroom community, we live in Mayberry, it's safe. Well, if we got people stealing things out of the police department, we need to at least address it, because it's alarming. And the silence that I get and the lack of outrage is also appalling. So I applaud Mr. Chatelain for meeting with me and sharing his concerns as well as mine. And he said, invited me here tonight, so here I am. So I would hope that maybe by next meeting, Chief Walker could prepare a statement and address whether or not we have automatic weapons, shotguns, and multiple weapons missing, and an update on the stolen evidence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll just state that the chief does have one more opportunity to provide a report to the council, and I'll ask him to address those here publicly as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lisa Jardina. I have a few questions also concerning HPD. I'm curious as to why Captain Adams is still on the HPD. I'm also curious as to why Troy Grimion is still employed by HPD. He accused a citizen of shooting at officers in the middle of the day, and yet he's still on the police force. He's actually a detective. I'd like to know why he's still on the police force. I'd also like to know how the SWAT armory lost or had stolen a submachine gun and at least one shotgun. I'd like to know, is there an investigation going on for it? Chief? Walker?
You're not going to get an answer. It's addressed the council. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll come back with an answer later.
Is Troy Grimion under investigation for lying on the stand, accusing someone of shooting a weapon at him?
Excuse me, you're addressing the council, you're not, it's not an
I'm okay, buddy.
inquisition of the
Thank you.
chief.
I can say it to whomever I want. I'm saying it to y'all also. So, I'd like to know, what is the status of the raises for the police officers? I'd like to know what the HPD's budget is. I'd like to know how much money HPD cost Harahan with the back pay that they had to pay the police officers that they illegally fired and had to rehire. I'd like to know if the city of Harahan as well as HPD are under suit. Anybody suing y'all? It's people's money. You all are elected representatives. You're accountable to the people, whether you're a police chief or not. The council in particular, y'all do have some tools that you can use. I don't know if y'all are even interested in what's going on with HPD. I haven't heard one statement from any of y'all. I've spoken to Eric. That's it. People want answers, and they're dependent on you all to get the answers for them. Are y'all representing the people, or are you protecting Walker? Who authorized the hiring of Moody? Y'all did that, didn't y'all? Didn't he present that to y'all?
The council allocates the money. We don't-
When I
we
read the
don't
Lawrenson
hire or
Act,
fire anybody.
I know you can't hire or
Okay.
fire, but you can approve it.
No,
Whereas
no,
from
no,
what I
we-
read, in the Lawrenson Act, it goes before y'all,
No,
and
no.
you can say yay or nay, and then he would have had to have come up with another.
I am not, my
Would the city
understanding-
attorney know?
Lisa, if you ask a question, I was
Yeah,
going to answer.
go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
My understanding, and I'm going to start this statement by that, the council allocates money. If if the council puts $1 million in the salary line of the police department, that's for the police department to hire and fire who they see fit. At what rate? Again, that doesn't come before the council. We allocate money to the department.
I understand.
Okay, so, okay.
And I'm just telling you that it's my understanding, reading the Lawrenson Act, that actually the assistant chief position has to come before you all. He can bring whoever he wants, but y'all don't have to okay it. So,
I'm gonna guess
I'll
about
double check.
about 9 years ago. I'm gonna guess they never had an assistant chief position.
know.
So
He
I
was created one
I
for
think
him.
that was created. It was way before him. It was under
Yeah, but it
Mac
was just-
Dickinson's administration.
It was just recently
But that's
brought back.
But
is
it's
what I'm
been
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have had assistant chiefs in the past.
Yeah, I know.
And it was a created position that was there. If the chief chooses to appoint someone to that position, that's his prerogative, you know.
And so I'm asking you all to look into the Lawrence Act as I read it. And if I'm wrong, my apologies, but if I'm right, then maybe things need to be handled the way that they're supposed to be handled. And that's that an applicant has to come before you all, and y'all have to give the okay, because he shouldn't be in that position. I think all of y'all know that.
Let's not point fingers.
No, and if you're going to sit here and talk about
Buddy, don't
people
interrupt
talk
me.
poorly,
Do not interrupt
I'm going
me.
to interrupt you,
Do
and I'm
not
going to ask
interrupt
you
me.
to leave the
Do not
podium
interrupt
if
me.
you speak
Do
that
not
way about
interrupt
people.
me. I am trying to do what I came up here to do, and you are interrupting
You don't
me.
have to make
I'm
allegations
trying to wrap
against
it
the
up, but he
person.
won't stop interrupting me.
You just
So I'd
made a
like to know-
statement that an
Just to ask you,
assistant
are
chief
you
is...
aware of anything that's going on at HPD, of any of the problems that have come before the civil service and that have been brought forward to everyone's attention? Are you aware of the problems that have been in HPD?
I'm aware of the proceedings at the civil service meeting.
Nothing before that?
Nothing before or other than that.
Okay. Councilwoman Wheeler, nothing? What not aware of any problems prior to the civil service meetings that took place, correct?
I believe that's the only thing we're aware of until recently 3 residents reached out with stuff that they told me that I can't say accurate
Yeah,
or not.
yeah, that's
We're
fine.
looking into it now.
Yeah. Buddy, are you aware of any problems the HPD has had?
I'm not commenting to you.
You're a clown. Johnson?
If you say one more
I'ma make a
derogatory
motion.
comment
You
about
do
a
not
person, I'ma
interrupt
ask
me,
you to
and I am
leave.
an American
I
citizen, and I will
excuse
say
me.
what I
Leave
want. Do you
now.
understand me?
I'll make a motion to suspend the lady's time. She's got to leave the podium.
Thank
You are violating my rights, and you
Motion
will.
to
You'll hear
suspend
from
the
it.
time? I have a motion on the floor to suspend the time. All in favor, second by Councilman Johnson, all in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
That'd be great.
No, well,
Hi, my name's David Collette. I live at 253 East Avenue. I've been living there about 25 years, and I live in my grandparents' home, so I've been there a lot longer than that.
David, could you speak, they can't hear, could you speak, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
I hear talking about the speeding in residential streets, especially on East Avenue. That's the street that the parents come pick up their kids. Many times I've called and called. They came out, and you know what? Nobody drives down that street. I called Tuesday at 3:14. I talked to Shirley. I think her name was Shirley. I'm not sure. And she took my name, and I told her what's going on about the speeding, and she said she'll give the message to Tim Walker. Well, he called me back at 3:47. He said he has 2 cars that take care of this. And the 2 cars did come out Wednesday. They came out, I found out Wednesday afternoon when I came home at 3 o'clock, 2 cars were out there. And they flashed the lights at a couple of cars passing. And they will not give tickets until the car is going 30 miles an hour on a 20 mile an hour street. That's absurd. Would you like for me to drive down your street doing 30 miles an hour? Okay? Then I talked to the officer that was heading the thing. He told me that, and I have to explain to him that every time they come out there, there's no cars that come down the street. It's all nice and calm. He told me, he said, David, it was posted on Facebook on Tuesday. I spoke to Tim Walker on Tuesday afternoon at 3:47, and it was posted Tuesday afternoon after that. So somebody's alerting the public through HPD about speed traps. If you come down my street and come sit on my porch and watch these cars, they're doing 40. And I've gotten in trouble once before for a guy coming to revving his engine and burning his tires in front of my house. I spent the night in jail. Okay? This needs to stop now. Is there any way we can get the speed limit changed from 20 to 15? Plaquemines Parish has it in Belchase, 15 mile an hour speed limit. If you're gonna give 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, 25 miles an hour, boom, give them a ticket. I'd give them a ticket doing 23. Orleans Parish does it at 23 miles an hour. No, it is a pain. It's a pain.
21 miles an hour.
It's a pain in the butt to come down here to contest this ticket. To come to this kangaroo court, which they called it years ago. I've been here and done that before. Okay, give them a ticket doing 25 miles an hour. It's the inconvenience of coming down here to defend yourself.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If I come up with another solution, would you be open to it?
Which one, what's that?
No, why don't you, let me give you my name and number. I want you to come meet with me. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I have some ideas.
I thought about putting speed bumps down the street.
Can't do that.
Well, my kids were little,
Please
we
don't.
would put cones in the street. You know what? When Peter Dale was police chief,
And it's lighting up how fast they go on.
oh, I got a hard drive here. I can give it to you right here. And it's, y'all can go look at this. Take that look at it. With the speed limit sign and all that. When Peter Dale was the police chief, he put police officers on the end of that street. He gave tickets to the teachers, school bus drivers. He didn't care. He stepped on people's toes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, man, let's do it.
Terry Valenti, 191 Colonial Club Drive. The problem with the police department and the problems with the public perception is that every one of you supported Chief Walker. Moody drove his white bus around with your names on it. There's been real estate transactions between Moody, Chatelaine, that you notarized.
There's nothing wrong with that, Ms. Valenti, so please do not bring my business into this. I did nothing wrong, but proceed.
I'm not going to mention your business, but you
just said I'm not
notarized documents between a councilman and a police chief. And now y'all sit here and you don't say anything about an elephant in a room. I mean, like a wild, raging elephant is in Harahan, and y'all say nothing about it. Nothing. And you allow him to sit there like stone, and you get up and you say, Chief, present a statement regarding the state of Harahan Police Department. And he stands before us and talks about the drug box and a Christmas parade and drags someone in from, I mean, the man from the Lions Club was a very nice man, but I mean, it's like, look over there, don't look at me, don't, I mean, why can't you at least do a no confidence vote? You've done that before. You had no problem doing that to Mayor Maselli. But you got a police chief sitting here that's lost 75% of the force, and y'all don't question him about it. And you don't question what Moody does, and you say you don't know what he did before. We've reported stuff he's posted on Facebook. He's outed addresses. He's called people old hags. Me in particular, and other people. So, and y'all may not like me because I give you a lot of grief, but there's some really nice people that he said things about that you probably do like. But nobody, no, there he sits, and you people act like, well, we just run with him for elections. We're not gonna call attention to the fact that he has lost 75% of the force right after the people voted for 5 mills for that department. And you were on the committee. You were on the committee, and Buddy's relative was on the committee. And it just looks awful.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Please. So for your information, Ms. Valenti, there was a meeting that was just held Tuesday with myself, the mayor, Councilman Chatelaine, and Chief Walker. Okay. We have heard the concerns of people. We called, and the assistant chief, yes, sir, I'm so sorry, I apologize. I called for the meeting that day, the day before, we set it up, Tuesday afternoon. The concerns we said, yes, was chief, a statement needs to be made, something needs to be said, okay? We're gonna give the man the benefit of the doubt. If that issue is not addressed, then the council will take whatever necessary actions that we can do.
Well, Miss Wheeler, I
So
remember.
just so, because I remember, you know, your comment of, I met alone, never met alone. The previous meeting I met with the chief, Councilman Chatterley was also present with, when there was an issue about the number of officers that were on duty. I think somebody posted something on Facebook that said we only had 8 people. That day I called for a meeting. I think Assistant Chief Moody was present at that meeting too. I reported back at the council meeting, told who all the attendees were. I never met by myself. And I
Well,
reported back.
whether you were
Just-
alone, I just meant privately, not for the public. And
But I
then-
reported back at the next
but
meeting, Ms. Valenti.
you
exactly-
did,
I
and you
did.
reported everything was fine.
Ma'am, the only question that was brought to me was the number of people. It was 8. I went to the chief, and he said it was 18, if I'm not mistaken. That was reported back at the meeting.
And did you ask him at that time how many of those people were new hires? How many could really patrol? How many could carry a gun? How many could make an arrest? Did you have any follow-up questions?
I did.
And what was the
So
answer
we
to
have
that?
22 police officers now that are out on patrol. Yep, and we now have 22, and we
I'm
have brand new
talking about
staff.
when she came to the meeting and announced to the
The concern
citizens.
that was brought to me was, Kerry, is it true that Chief Walker only has 8 patrolmen? I said, you know what, ma'am, I'm gonna find out. Called the chief that day. Got a meeting that afternoon.
Well, let me tell you something.
To show up. Wait, can I finish? I didn't
Sure,
interrupt you.
yes.
Chief Moody, they gave us like a little pyramid. Here's the captains, here are the lieutenants, I believe, here's the platoons. I think it was 18, I will say it again, might have been 17, so please don't quote me. The next meeting, I reported exactly those facts to the public. So I guess, did I ask, are they properly able to, you said shoot a gun or hold a gun?
Or arrest? Are they
I
brand new
guess I would
hires
think that I
because
would
everybody
entrust
else
that was
left?
the chief does when he hires.
Okay, and so, well, I mean, when you hire a new hire,
Will they go through the training? I'm
right.
correct? Okay.
So he could have hired 15 people and had a number to give you, but the citizens are not being protected by full force.
They are.
I don't know if I disagree with that, because I believe we specifically asked about the number of people, and I believe they said it was.
Well, I think he lied to you. So if he, that was the question I want to know. Did you lie to us, or did he lie to you?
Ms.
And
Valenti,
you
I don't know if
came-
necessarily, I reported on a number of patrolmen. I answered that question, I reported it back at the meeting. That's all I was asked to do,
I'll go
that's what
back
I
and
did.
listen to it. And I
Please go
I
back
didn't
and
want to
listen
say
to it.
you were lying. I
Because
just
I know I'm
wanted to
not
say,
lying.
right, if you weren't lying and the answer wasn't correct, then he lied to you.
Ma'am, I
Why
don't
are
know
you
if
assuming
there was-
anybody
well,
lied?
I was gonna say, let me go back again. A question was brought, Kerry, do we have 8 people? You know what I said, ma'am? I'll find out, I'll let you know.
I heard you said that 3 times.
So to say he's lying, you know what, I kind of, again, where it started, let's go back to the glorious Facebook that the city seems to just listen everything about. Somebody posted, there's only 8 people, and then it just festered into like everything seems to do here. I answered the lady's question, found the information, I reported it back.
Okay.
I never
I
met
will,
privately.
I'll be happy to go back and listen to that because it seemed to me
I don't
that
ever use the word okay,
misinformation
because the only
was
question was the
given.
number
Can we
of
put a time
patrolmen.
limit on this?
Well, Mr. Buddy wants me to sit down because.
No, I just
Oh,
want to put a
baby,
time
baby, I
limit
need you
on
to
it.
stay there. I need you to stay there. I gotta talk.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
The time has expired, and she was wrapping up, but we
I
had discussion.
asked-
Can,
chose to
can I
answer
make
the
a
question.
motion to give her another minute?
Second.
Well, not if you're going to take my whole minute.
I'm gonna take 45 seconds of it.
All right.
I believe anyone in this room, any citizen of Harahan, can call Harahan Police Department and set up a meeting with Chief Walker, Assistant Chief Moody, Eric Chatelain, any one of these council members up here, and we'll do our best to accommodate you to be there.
Okay.
Any one of the members up here.
Councilman Chatelain,
Hey,
did you?
whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me
Okay,
finish.
I thought you were done.
We'll do our best to be there. Chief Walker has never not set up, never was not available to talk to me. And I believe he's always available to talk to citizens. If anyone wants to set up a meeting, to meet with him. The question I got in the last week, besides what we've seen at the civil service boards, about what's going on at the police department. Do I know they true? Do I know these facts? Not one police officer has ever came to me and said, I feel like I'm in a hostile environment, or I feel like we're understaffed.
Well,
I
when-
feel like we're not, I'm gonna finish. I feel like we're not trained. I feel like I'm working with somebody I'm not safe with. Not one police officer came to me. I don't know your profession 100%, but in my profession, if one of my employees come to me and say, Eric, I'm not safe working with this guy. I might get electrocuted. He's not tagging everything out properly. I'm going to step up and do my job. And
Well,
confront that guy, get him the proper training, or terminate him. Do I believe the police chief would do the same thing? Do I believe the police department works under the police chief? Yes.
well, I think.
If someone's got a problem there, they need to come to the police chief or come to us, and we'll address that problem. No one ever said they wouldn't address that problem. I met with Mr. Ramon. He told me his issues. I explained them to the chief. We asked for a statement. Phil Ramon came here tonight, made his address. The chief doesn't address it tonight. We'll deal with it after that. But as of right now, that's where we stand. We can't go and say, twist his arm, give me an answer right now. Not one Harahan employee, HPD employee, has come to me, and I don't know if they've come to any of these guys, and said they have a problem at that police department. If I go out there and just start talking about you and saying, you're not an investigator, you're doing a horrible job, and I call, that's just I don't know that's a fact, So I can't take all of this stuff. So when the questions come to us, we approach the police chief, we talk about it. We go to assistant chief, we talk about it.
Then tell your citizens you're doing something about it.
The citizens
You look
only came
like
to me
you're just
last week.
ignoring it.
Last week, I got a call from Phil Ramon.
We've been coming before the council since before Bodier was mayor, before this administration. We have been coming and bringing problems about the police department to these public hearings.
Has any employees,
And you were there.
has any employees came to us and told us there's an issue
Eric,
there?
a young cop that's being bullied by an assistant chief and a chief is not going to come to a person that sign was on the same assistant chief's truck running a campaign and complain about
I'm going to
his
sit
job.
here and
Be
tell you,
real.
I can't say Chief Walker has ever endorsed me or stepped with me for political gain in any way.
Well, I
And
can tell you
right
that
here and
I've
tell
lived
you,
here 30
I can
years,
sit
and
right
I
here and
believe
tell
you
you,
have campaigned together.
I can sit right here and tell you, I have never voted for Chief Walker to be the police chief. I think he's doing a fine job. I look forward to any
Well,
questions
that's
you have.
pretty crazy, because
If
I
you wanna-
voted for him, and I'd give anything to have my
If you want
vote
to
back.
meet with me and Chief Walker, call HPD, set up a meeting, we'll make that arrangement. Thank you.
I want y'all to meet with him. I want you to get the
We just told you we
project
met with him and you won't take it.
We
If you want to meet with us, call HPD, set
And
up a
then
meeting.
tell the
Thank you.
citizens.
Ms. Valenti, we have met with them, and we are addressing your questions, and we are trying to get you answers, and we hope in December we'll have you answers. I'll do my best, I promise. I have some answers tonight, but I'd rather go when we have them all.
Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry, say that just one thing, because that man said something about that Harahan Police Department Facebook page and announcements. I don't get those because I've been blocked,
Okay.
and that's against the law.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Say something.
Good evening.
3 minutes.
Terry Bologna, 306 East Avenue. I'm not going to make any friends here tonight, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I've already admitted up here publicly to being a cranky old lady, and I'm going to follow through with it. First, I will say, if somebody owns a Facebook page, it is not illegal for you to be blocked from it.
A
Goes back
public
to my
one it
business
is.
law classes, goes back to anything you can research. Secondly, I applaud you guys for doing something about this, about some of these comments. However, my concern is, and I follow the Facebook pages. I started doing it before I moved to Harahan from Jefferson. And I still moved. I wanted to move to Harahan. I truly did. I like living in Harahan. I plan on staying here. I'm encouraging others to move to Harahan. But my concern about some of these allegations is that it appears that a number of them are spurious. They're unfounded. I've asked some of the people making these allegations to verify their source and to source their data, to source the information they're putting out there and verify it. And they've refused to. And I'm going to tell you at my age and experience in life that if somebody does not want to source and verify data and allegations, that there are 3 or 4 things at play. Either A, they're patently false. Either B, they're greatly exaggerated. Either C, they got them illegally and they're patently false and greatly exaggerated, or any combination thereof. Typically, people that are doing that have some sort of a vendetta. God only knows what reason why. But I've never seen any of these allegations verified or sourced, and I've asked. Not a problem asking. I think it will settle a number of people's mind if somebody does say, listen, these accusations have been made, boom, boom, boom. That would be nice. It certainly doesn't have to be done. Nobody's obligated to do it. I've never seen a police department in my life where people have tried to hold it to manage the personnel issues and how the police department is run. And I've lived in some pretty big cities with some pretty big police departments. I even dated a police officer one time. Didn't marry him, though. But, I mean, these are things that people need to take into consideration. I have a number of the younger policemen and firemen that live in my neighborhood, and I've actually asked them, what the hell is going on? And they've said they have no idea, they don't know where any of this is coming from. And I'm not their boss. I've not campaigned with any of them. I barely know Chief Walker, except that he and his staff have responded very kindly to a couple of incidents that have occurred that I've addressed with them, and they've been wonderful about it. So I just want to say it would be nice if the stuff got answered, and I apologize for taking all 3 minutes. It would be great. It would settle a lot of people's minds, and I would hope it would put some of these people making these allegations. Some of these allegations, I suspect, are slander, libel, doxing, bullying, or a combination thereof, which all 4 of those actions are against Louisiana state law. I looked it up. And all 4 of those actions are also, at least the doxing and the bullying, are also federal crimes now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being positive.
I'm going to be very quick. Andrew Case on Ashbourne Drive. As some people in the room know, I work in the computer security industry, and no offense to the resident on East Street who brought it up, but I was very horrified when he said to plug in a random USB drive. If you have malware, if that USB drive were to have malware or viruses on it, it would very quickly infect your computer. If the Harahan IT department can't handle it, I have equipment at my house. I'd be happy to bring it over where you can plug in whatever USB drive you want in a forensics way, get the data, it won't infect your machine. Just reach out anytime if you want that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Still at the same place, I promise. Jason Ruzick, I'm still here. Okay, to start with, I would like to say, I saw a great TV commercial once that said, well, if it was on the internet, it must be true, right? Well, I see some of these Facebook posts with these incredibly wild allegations, and I always kind of start scratching my head saying, where the heck did they get this? And I have a young lady back there saying, you know, well, she actually asked for the proof and the evidence, and it's yet to be found. So it's been apparently over a year. We just heard from Ms. Valenti. It's been so long they've been bringing up these allegations for all this time. Why haven't they ever brought any proof? Ever. I'd like to know that personally. But to tie into that, I also heard, well, by what right did this man have to hire that man? And how come you guys didn't review it? How come you didn't approve it? I'll tell you why. 33:2570. It's a specific statute specific to Harahan that says he can hire that guy without any of you looking at a thing. Did you know that? Yeah, I figured you did. But there's actually a statute written for Harahan that says the chief of police can hire an assistant chief at will. And he can fire him too, by the way. But he can hire him at will. And once again, that was 33:2570. There's a colon in the middle of it.
When date was that adopted?
Oh my. Hold on, let me look.
You can look up later.
Hold on.
Yeah, I was under Max Administration.
I think it's 2011.
Yeah, I was here.
We will look it
All
up.
right.
We'll make sure to get that information out to people.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
But lastly, I'd like to say I've actually never seen, and I've been traveling the country a fair amount lately, and I have never seen the public attempting to influence the internal workings of a department, internal workings now, through Facebook. Think about that. Does that make any sense at all to anybody in this room? It's nuts.
It's almost dangerous. When you go on Facebook and say,
Yes.
8 employees, that's like saying, hey, we live right next to the capital murder of America, come on in, come get us.
Yeah, we are this, we have been.
Why would we say
If
that?
not the safest city in the entire state of Louisiana, we're darn close. And we're 10 miles away from a place that's not. I look at this man and the department, and we have 22 officers that are currently
Correct.
out on it. I mean, how do you go wrong? We were budgeted for 22 officers way back under Tina Maselli. It was approved, but couldn't fill it. Now we did. And we have fantastic officers. I've met a few of them. I'm incredibly impressed with everybody I've met so far. How is this not fantastic for Harahan? This is wonderful. We should be happy. I am very happy. And I heard about speeders a little bit ago. I'm all over that. I agree with the man who was complaining. So that's kind of a negative, I guess. So it's not all positive. We have problems to address. That's one of them. But I believe that the chief can do it. I am certainly confident in everybody else in the police department right now. And thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. You have your statute. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
My name is Keith Moody. I reside at 411 Bailey Street in Harahan, Louisiana. You just heard the statute about the chief being able to hire me, and frankly, he could fire me, and he probably will after I make this little presentation. I want the citizens to know I've been called everything but a son of God for the last few years, but that's okay with me, because I'm at peace with my God. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Anytime you need the Harahan Police Department, you dial 911, and we'll respond. If you have a medical emergency, dial 911. Dial 911 anytime you suspect criminal activity or if you need emergency services. We will always respond, even to people that don't like me. I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to do a job. I take my responsibilities very seriously. Harahan has never been better protected than we are today. I've been in this business a long, long time, and although my wife tells me to come back to Metairie and quit doing this nonsense. You stuck with me as long as he keeps me on board, not going anywhere. Criminals are going to have to go through my thin blue line and my big girth to get to your citizens. So my cell phone number, and putting a face, I really have more of a radio face instead of a TV face, but since I'm up here, my personal cell phone number is 504-220-0581. Call me anytime. You can come in. I'm very proud of our men, your men and women of the Harahan Police Department. I'd love to show you around. I will tell you everything I can legally, morally, and ethically allowed by the law. I'm a sworn officer to not only the federal government, but also the state of Louisiana. I'm too pretty for prison. I'm not going to do anything that's against the rules and regulations, and more importantly, I'm responsible to God. So my cell phone number is 220-0581. My email is Keith, Keith, .moody @harahanpd.com. Call me, write me, send me smoke signal. We're here for you, and if I'm still here tomorrow, we're here to serve and protect. Protect and serve has always been a model in Harahan. Now it's to serve first and then protect. I'm responsible to get my guys and girls home every end of their shift. That's my number one responsibility, to get my folks home. Officer safety will always be job one for us. And then, although we love you, you're second. My officers can't fight and defend you if they're not healthy and well-equipped and well-trained. May I have one more minute?
Yes.
There is no one on the Harahan Police Department today that is not post-qualified to be on the road. They have full power arrest. They have full power to write tickets, to arrest people.
They would not be on the streets if they were not qualified within all regulations of the law. Okay? The chief is responsible for everything that happens or fails to happen at the Harahan Police Department. I'm the operational commander who executes his mission, his vision, and his will. I will never do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical to risk the relationship with my God or anybody else on earth. My phone number is 220-0581. I welcome everybody anytime to come over and visit. And if I still have a job tomorrow, you can call me right now.
Keith, what's that phone number again?
504.
God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Make a motion to close address the council.
Okay, motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Asbill to close address the council. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk?
Secretary's report for October, total revenue, $502,625.26. And we have reports.
Chief Walker?
Stats for October 2019. We had 1,066 calls for service. We had 5 accidents, 247 citations issued for 319 violations. Like I said at the last meeting, we've increased our traffic. We have 2 officers on the street primarily, and they're doing a lot of enforcement. Especially school zones in the afternoon. It's illegal to have a cell phone in your hand in a school zone. They've been making a lot of citations in that. Fire patrol requests. Number of arrests for narcotics for the month were 8. There were 5 misdemeanors and 3 city charges. Other arrests were 54 for 81 different charges, 13 felony, 56 misdemeanors, 10 city, and 2 traffic. Persons and property crimes for the month. 0 murders, no rapes, no robberies, 1 residential burglary, no non-residential burglary, no attempted burglary, no motor vehicle thefts, no attempted motor vehicle thefts, 2 larceny thefts, and 7 assaults. As I said before, we're very proud of our officers. We had 2 just graduated from the academy recently. You see a nice, new, friendly faces out there interacting with you. Said before, you need us, dial 911. We're coming. Thank you.
Next.
You want to go in order, Councilman Asbill?
Yes. Want to thank everybody that came out for the trunk or treat at Harahan Playground to support the Sonia at No Limits Playground event. It was a big success. We moved it inside because of the weather, but it turned out pretty good. And I appreciate everyone coming out for that. I want to address just a couple of the things I heard regarding HPD. I know it's at the discretion of every police officer regarding speeding on the threshold that they write a ticket. It's at their discretion kind of deal. I do think 30 is a little high in a 20. I'll say that, but I mean, again, it's at their discretion. So you need to get with the chief. The chief doesn't know that his police officers aren't writing 30 and a 20 tickets unless you tell him. He doesn't know. So please get out there and do that. And then happy Thanksgiving.
Councilman Buddy?
I'd like to say that I've been coming to council meetings again on the rebound for about 3 or 4 years, probably closer to 3, including a year sitting on the council. And during that period of time, on Facebook and folks addressing the council have made a lot of claims of irregularities, unlawful acts. I attended the 4 or 5 most recent civil service meetings to learn about civil service and heard what I believe is a non-citizen make claim after claim, had 3 hearings, claimed to have evidence and didn't present any evidence of wrongdoing. I've heard for 3 or 4 years that individuals have said the police department is being investigated. Most recently, I've heard that the police department is being investigated by the FBI and the Attorney General's office. I don't have any knowledge of any wrongdoing. If there are investigations underway, they're underway by agencies that have police authority. The council has no police authority. We don't have any investigative authority. We're talking about a police chief who was elected by the citizens of Harahan. He's got autonomy. I trust that he's doing the right thing. I too would like to see the chief address these issues, but that's his prerogative. The council has no authority that I'm aware of other than to sit down with the chief and talk to him just like any citizen can. That's where we stand. So to get up here and say, why aren't we doing anything about undocumented allegations, is something that I can't take seriously. It's hard to answer that question. I have no authority. I have no proof of any wrongdoing, nothing except somebody posting things on Facebook or coming up here and making claims or going to civil service, making claims, having 3 hearings scheduled at civil service.
That costs us tons of money.
By the way, we pay, the volunteers sit on the board, but at every civil service meeting, we have a stenographer that we pay for and an attorney that we pay for. 3 hearings, claims that I'm going to present evidence, 0 fact, 0 evidence presented. Wasted our money, wasted our volunteers. The folks that serve on that board are competent. They do a great job. They take it seriously. We wasted their time. So if anybody's got any proof of anything, I suspect you've already gone to appropriate authorities, and it'll all come out in the wash, and one day, if there's any smoke, and if there's any fire, we're all gonna know about it. In the meantime, it's all innuendo. It's all unsubstantiated. It's all rumors. And I can't get really upset with the chief. And I have no authority in this matter. Not only I, the 6 elected members up here have no authority over the chief. We elected him. I voted for him. I'm happy with that decision. And I dare say I expect to be happy with that decision 3.5 years from now. But I just want everybody to know that. And in closing, I'd like to say, I hope everybody has a wonderful, happy, and joyous Thanksgiving. Look forward to seeing you guys on the 10th of December
December 10th.
at our special
6
meeting,
o'clock.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Chatelain?
2 weeks ago, we had St. Rita Fair. Seen a lot of these faces out there. We had a great time. Great community event. Very fun, positive. Everybody dancing, having a good time. That's what we like to see. Last weekend, we had a jambalaya cook-off at the playground. Great community event. A lot of the same people there dancing, having a great time. Some people don't show up to nothing. They the ones missing out, but we having a good time. We had over 120 cars at the jambalaya cook-off car show. We had 22 teams. We had a great time. I believe we raised some money. We don't have exact numbers yet. We're still working on paying a few bills, but we did a good job. I thank the people that helped put that on, and they did a fantastic job. We also have an autographed Saints football helmet signed by Drew Brees. The Athletic Association is raffling that off. I don't have the date, but I think we're pulling a ticket in January.
January 16th?
It'll be yes, it's $5 a ticket, or you get 5 tickets for $20. And the drawing will be held at our January council meeting, which I think that date might be subject to change.
Yes.
The drawing will be held on that date. Might not be at a council meeting, but the drawing will be held on that date,
We'll just come here and just.
7
go-
o'clock here, and we'll video it. I don't have Facebook, amen? But I do get a lot of snapshots from Facebook sent to my phone, so I kind of know a little bit of a few things that are going on. I've been called a lot of things. Last week I was called a crook. There's one thing I'm not a crook. So if you want to call me a crook, prove that I stole something. I'm not a crook. I think that's all I have. I look forward. I think the city's moving forward. I think the police department's moving forward. I hope I didn't say anything to offend anybody, but I'm up here to speak my mind and say what we have to say. Anyone wants to meet with me, the police chief, call me, call the police chief. We'll do our best to make our availability to their convenience. It's tough sometimes if we have other arrangements, other plans made, but we're going to do our best to meet with you. We will not put you off. Meet with us, talk, discuss, see if you can get your answers. We're available. And I believe some people are upset that the city's moving forward in a positive way, and we're having a lot of good things going on. And if they want to come and talk to us, we're prepared to talk to them. I look forward to talking with all citizens. All right? Thank y'all.
Councilman Wheeler?
Well, I was gonna address the
You gonna skip me?
comment.
Look at that.
You skipped Craig.
You gonna skip me?
I'm sorry, Councilman Johnson.
I just want to say happy Thanksgiving, that's all.
She was giving me she was mean mugging me over
No,
there.
I was mean
Distracted
mugging
me.
because
That's right.
I was gonna bring up the Saints helmet. You stole my thunder, Chatelaine.
Oh, go.
She's
Too
scared.
late now.
The queen scared me.
Stop. No, I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet. Look, we're ready to get out of here. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Thank y'all for coming. I know it takes time away from y'all's family. We do appreciate y'all being here. I hope we can just move along the city in directions that it needs to be in, and I just feel sometimes we take a step forward and then there's like 20 back, and sometimes I feel like I'm running in circles and we're not getting things done, and I hope people know that we are, you know. We have meetings where, I think I've had more meetings and, gee, I don't wanna talk about it. That's all we do is meet, but that's fine, that's what we're here to do, but I just want sometimes people just put aside, ma'am, I do agree kind of with your comment. I can't help but think that sometimes I think this is more maybe somebody's vendetta. And that's just my opinion about maybe some of the things. Again, have I ever been brought anything, hard evidence? Absolutely not. I don't think any of us have, okay? We have addressed the concerns of the citizens. We address all the concerns. If we get a concern, we're calling the mayor. If I get a call about Councilman Asbill, we're calling him. I will say it again, I think it's just sad. We're such a small community. Everybody knows everybody. It's like we're the Kevin Bacon of the world. You know this person who knows that person who knows this person. And it's just sad that we have turned to, again, Facebook, that people just take it and just run with it. Instead of picking up the phone and saying, hey, Kerry, I heard this. Is this true? Or Mayor, I heard this. Or, you know, yeah, we're crooks now. That's the latest thing that we were told. We're crooks. It's just, I just wish we could just move forward. And I think that day will come. I'm being positive, and I think that day will come, and I'm very honored to sit up here with these fine gentlemen. Glad to be the only female too, by the way. Sorry, I had to say that. But thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming. I know it's saying you have a happy Thanksgiving. Oh, and happy early birthday to my daughter. The next meeting, I won't be advertised, so happy birthday, baby. Okay.
Okay, so I know we have a filming of Polar Express coming at the playground. I believe Ms. Dina Gunkel is putting that on, and a caveat to Breakfast with Santa. Councilman Wheeler's gonna find that date for me. Okay, this is the flyer. It is gonna be Saturday, December 7th, 2019, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Movie starts at 4:30. These are really important to us because
$10 a family, by the way.
me and this council are working hard, and I believe the police department are continuing to work hard, and my staff to create a new culture in Harahan, and that's one of working together, and that's one of community, and getting us back to where we can all, you know, love one another again. And then we have Breakfast with Santa, Saturday, December 14th, 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. That's December 14th. That's right before the parade. Also, there's the Sip and Shop at St. Rita.
Oh, that's this Saturday.
That's this Saturday, and there's
Forgot about
10 to 2. 10 to 2. I got that. That's why I got that.
You just have a little glass, they put a little wine in it.
Yes,
and you
or
sit
some
there while
eggnog.
you shop, and I think it's unlimited. You buy the glass.
I'm glad I got to walk home because I was all juiced up on that eggnog last year. All right, Jambalaya Cook-Off. I wanted to say congratulations to Rodney Beloso, who has his own brand called Hot Rod. And if you don't know who Rodney Beloso is, his kid plays at LSU, and he's the one smacking the ball out of the park at every LSU baseball game. cable also. I know both of them very well. Man, what a great family and great people. The fire department, I think they cheated me, because they are constantly, I know my jambalaya was better than those, and I've had enough of that. But let me come back real quick to a point I made, and that's the culture that we breed here. And I think that we've done something real well in City Hall, and we've really turned the ship, which was pretty dramatic to do, but we did it anyway. And I think that you're gonna see that in the community. It's gonna take us a little while to get there, but I think you're seeing that same thing in the police department. And in the beginning, you know, we were doing our thing, they were doing their thing, and I'm sure there was times where they're going, what is Bodier doing over there? You know, and I'm going, well, what is Walker doing over there? You know, but now, and I am gonna address, and we are working on addressing the questions that were brought before us. However, I really wanna focus on now. And now is that I believe, I don't know, there's just an atmosphere of such positivity. I've never felt the police department moving in a direction that it's in. And no, it's no insult to anyone, but I've never felt it like it has. There's no infighting whatsoever. There's no infighting in City Hall, and there's no fighting between the chief of police and the mayor. And that's how we move city. Now, if we can get that to the community and stop it in the community, man, people want to come to Harahan. I don't know if y'all saw, it was just announced that the city of New Orleans is going to bring like $9 million in new tech jobs to a bunch of these kids that are coming to New Orleans. We want them here. Those kids are going to make over $100,000 plus a year. I want them living in my city. And when they see a positive culture and atmosphere like that, they're coming. And that's what we want here. You know, we want to take care of our elderly, and we want to bring in, you know, new youth and ideas to maybe one day take my spot. You know, and they may have the new greatest, best idea to move Harahan in a better direction than I ever could. But right now, we're busting butt to figure it out. I'm proud of the chief. I'm proud of the assistant chief. We're digging in. We're trying to get you answers. We're not ignoring anything. Sometimes it's very hard for us to respond. I know for me, I'll speak for myself, is that because when you do, you just get attacked. And I'm not opening myself to attacks. Most of the time, I just need to know the answer for myself, to know that I can make peace with when I look at myself in the mirror at night. But I'm tired of being attacked by these people, and I'm no longer going to give them that advantage anymore. So I won't respond to them. So thank you. I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I am going to go see my mom, who is not well. She left here after Katrina, and she lives in Houston. She never came back, which was her bad. And but she's not doing well, so I'm going to go see her. And I'm very thankful that my mom is still alive. So I hope that you guys are all thankful for something as well. And y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Pay the bills. Pay them bills. Pay them bills.
All right, bills paid in October, $358,414.62.
Pay those bills.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, I have a motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Asbill to adjourn. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. We are now adjourned.